Hello everyone. Welcome to the What If Anime YouTube channel. Today, we are diving into an exciting new story that will take your imagination to the next level. Let's get started. What if Naruto is inspired by the Yondaime and creates his own technique? Part 1 before Konoha. It was nighttime right now on October 20th, 5 years after the attack of the Kyuubi. Most people were asleep. The ones that weren't were up for several reasons. Those at the gates were on guard duty. They would watch the forest for any hint of movement. It was tedious and boring but necessary, for they knew if someone got past them, their loved ones were in danger. In the Ambu building in the exact center, about 20 people were up and working hard. 14 of them were in the tactics and strategy floor, in which Ambu captains and the commander would meet and discuss. The other 6 were far below in the basement, known as the torture and interrogation floor. 3 of the 6 people there were recorders waiting for certain need to spill their information. They knew it was only a matter of time, but they just thanked Kami that they were assigned to the best of the best, so it would be done quickly. The first interrogator was Marino Ibiki, the sadist. He used both psychological and physical approaches to break them. He was simple and precise. First goad them and make them mad, then punch them until they bleed, and finally give them redemption. This method was an old tactic book that still worked like a charm. He worked a lot because he didn't do much with his free time, earning him the nickname the sadist. The second interrogator was Mitarashi Anko, former apprentice of Orochimaru. She had a mean streak and a hate streak so large that if tangible it could stretch from a Wakagir to a Mikagir 2 times over. Unlike Ibiki, she reveled in making her patients' blood. She would use snakes that injected pain. She would use knives. She would use kicks to the groin. Consistently and constantly she dished out pain in the most graceful and gruesome fashion. Her recorder winced a bit as Anko unleashed a very hard blow down low. Her interrogations never lasted over 2 hours. By then either the patient needed to go to the hospital's intensive care unit, or the patient would be spilling his guts out and then going to the hospital's intensive care unit. Finally, the last interrogator was Yamanaka Inoichi. This man was a legend. Famed the best interrogator in the elemental countries, he taught Ibiki the ropes and then some. This man, though in retirement, was pulled from time to time to handle the hardest subjects. It was said that Ibiki couldn't hold the candle to him, and when Ibiki's opinion was asked, he simply said he couldn't even touch the man's ability. Inoichi would take the psychological approach, using words and emotions to deal the beatings. If not, he would simply break the man's mind and get the info out, even though he would prefer to leave a man's mind intact. Inoichi was not a man to trifle with in the business. When it would take 3 hours with Ibiki, it would only take 10 minutes for Inoichi. The next group of people that was up was in the Hokage Tower. The Hokage contained many things: the council chambers, storerooms, documents, and more documents. Inside at this time were guards, a series of Ambu and Jounin surrounding the tower and covering it from every angle. Every person that entered the Hokage's tower would have their body checked, unknowingly, for identification, genjutsu, and weapons at least 2 times. The only other person in the Hokage Tower was the Hokage himself, once called the God of Shinobi and the Professor. Both titles well earned and well kept. He was a kind man who loved his village at times, but a very sneaky one to those who deserved it. He would make rules and laws behind the council's back to ensure that they couldn't get their dirty paws on things they shouldn't be touching. At this time of night, the Hokage would be doing several things. One of them was paperwork, the bane of all Hokages. 20% of the documents in the Hokage Tower resided in his office. Another one of them was reading a small orange book that was signed by his student. His final work of the night was using the crystal ball to search over the lands, ensuring many were safe. He passed over 6th district, which was the slums of Konoha, to the 5th district, which was an under-the-radar area in which ninjas usually hung out and trained. It was usually restricted away from civilians, but it really didn't matter because not many civilians wanted to see Ambus or bloody and merciless killers watch their every move. As Sarutobi looked through the area with his crystal ball, he found an interesting sight. His eyes followed a little mass of blonde and orange enter a neat library with his Ambu following him quietly. Though he trusted his Ambu to keep himself, he wanted to know what was going on. The Hokage cleared his throat and called out Dolphin. An Ambu came in ready and waiting. Go to Wolf at the Nin Library in 5th District, Nin Library number 2, and asked him about Uzumaki Naruto. Dolphin nodded silently and disappeared. Sarutobi turned back to the crystal ball and focused back on the blonde. What are you doing, Naruto? Nin Library number 2. Naruto. Naruto snickered. There was no one guarding the library, so he went on in. He made sure he went through one of the loose windows so he could close it afterwards. With him he brought some worn rope and a bent hook he found in the garbage. He used his makeshift grappling hook to enter the library. Naruto's eyes were well adjusted to the night, and he started to look around. He finally found a candle and match on the desk of an accountant. He lit the candle and made his way searching for the chakra manipulation section to continue his research. Now you're wondering, how can a 5-year-old read well? Naruto's intelligence and maturity is far above the standard child. His mindset and resolution could be considered a seasoned ninja, and his learning ability was on par of a seasoned genin. He was forced to mature at the age of 4. No easy feat, I can tell you. He was attacked on his birthday for the past 2 years, ever since he started walking outside his apartment. And each of those years he had gained invaluable knowledge that lit a spark in his imagination. Naruto was looking for the chakra section to expand his knowledge on how to manipulate it, and maybe how to improve his control of it. Now usually if he had a question about anything at all he would ask either the old man, Doggy-kun, Dolphy-kun, Kitty-chan, or even Birdie-chan. But this time he wanted to surprise them and develop a technique like the fourth Hokage, something that would make him fast. Naruto walked through the aisles of scrolls and was looking for a specific label. After a minute of walking, Naruto found what he was looking for: how to manipulate chakra and improve your control. Naruto smirked. Yes, this would do nicely. Wolf, the silver-haired Anbu, watched Naruto pick up the chakra manipulation scroll and read it with an intense nature pounding his eyes. At first the silver-haired Anbu was confused as to why Naruto would be entering a library, but when he took the chakra manipulation, Kakashi smiled to himself. The last time Kakashi had talked to Naruto was 2 months ago, when he was on his usual catch-up time. After, he was called out for an assassination mission that took almost 2 months to complete. Dolphin had taken his post, and he heard an attack happen but was successfully thwarted before Naruto was harmed. Kakashi knew he could trust his drinking buddy, but he had heard some interesting things about his drinking buddy too, like he was dating Enko. Kakashi felt a presence appear next to him. He tensed for a moment, but then relaxed and thought, speak of the devil. Kakashi turned to his best buddy, Iruka. Kakashi muttered, hey. Iruka nodded, hey, what is Naruto doing? Kakashi gave a smile even though Iruka couldn't see it. He's looking up chakra manipulation. Iruka raised his eyebrows and then nodded for Kakashi to continue. I think he's trying to learn how to manipulate chakra to boost his speed. About 2 years ago, when I first met him, I told him how we manipulated chakra to our feet to make us go faster. Iruka nodded again, and then scratched his head, and Kakashi swore if he ripped off Iruka's mask he would see a sheepish face. After the recent attack, Naruto asked where he could find ninja info. I told him in a Nin library, but I didn't think he would know what that was. Both of them chuckled at the irony they had provided themselves. Naruto memorized all of the instructions and descriptions like a bullet. He did have photographic memory, so it was quite easy. Naruto sped through half the scroll when he came across something interesting. It was a short passage that read, some people actually have hard time controlling their chakra, so they use seals to help them control their chakra. There are many applications for seals and chakra manipulation. For example, one could use it to help focus chakra in a certain area, or store chakra to release later. For more reference, see Scroll Chakra Seals by Hattori Nanisher. Naruto bit his lip and debated his options whether to continue or go to seals. I can keep reading, but I should probably branch out into different subjects just in case I can't get these chakra manipulation stuff. Naruto put back the scroll and went to search for chakra seals, which was close by. Naruto read through it and found some interesting things. He found things for storage and things for manipulation. Naruto just sped through it, not caring for details. Naruto heard someone come up from behind him and whipped around. He saw it was Doggy-kun and Dolphy-kun. Naruto scratched the back of his head and chuckled nervously. Hey guys, the two Anbu remained silent. Naruto dropped his head and put back the scroll. The wolf mask Anbu took the candle and blew it out and grabbed Naruto's grappling hook. The dolphin one grabbed Naruto and put it on his back. Naruto grabbed hold and the three sped towards the apartment. On the way, Dolphin scolded Naruto for breaking into the library. An hour later, after they had tucked Naruto in and made sure that he would stay there, they left to the Hokage to report, handing it off to Nico to watch the boy. They both ran silently towards the Hokage tower. As they arrived and they steeled themselves for an intense questioning, the Hokage was looking right at them as they came in. While smoking his pipe, his eyes burrowed deep into their heads and could have probably fried their brains like steak. Report, the Hokage said in a rough voice. Though this was not the voice of the god of shinobi, it was at least at Anbu commander level. Kakashi went for the both of them, sir. I followed Naruto, who woke up at 11:34 and went across the district to the ninja library number 2. He brought a makeshift grappling hook made from rope and a hook. He climbed in and used the candle from an accountant's desk to find his way around. He searched the aisle and started reading the scroll, how to manipulate chakra and improve your control. In about 5 minutes, Dolphin also arrived. He continued to read for an hour and got through half the scroll. I am assuming he skimmed and picked up chakra control exercises to go over. He stopped at a certain part and put away the scroll. He then took the scroll chakra seals and then went skimmed that also at a much faster rate. Dolphin and I were worried that he might find something about sealing, so we stopped him and took him home. End of report. Sarutobi sighed and took in the information. Naruto was far smarter than anyone let on, but he would deal with it when the time came. He silently commended his Anbu for stopping Naruto. Kakashi, Iruka, you are both assigned to watch Naruto and his training. I will speak with him in a week and asked him about what he was doing. The two Anbu nodded and left. Sarutobi sighed once more and thought, 2-year time skip. Over the course of 2 years, Naruto had been practicing his chakra controls with a determination many admired. He had really gone far on his chakra control. As far as ninja techniques, that was what he focused on. Sarutobi forbade him from learning any ninja techniques or sealing, and Naruto listened to the old man. So when he snuck in there, he simply read more on chakra manipulations and different forms. He was now 3/5 across the book. As Naruto found out, the first half of the book was designed for Genin and Chunins, but the other half were for Jounin and Anbu. Naruto had to slow down and read other scrolls to understand what the scroll was talking about. And so Naruto time was severely dead between multiple subjects. From elemental manipulation to geography, Naruto understood the necessity of these things as a ninja and continued reading them. In his spare time and as a change of pace he sometimes read some history and learned about his old man who had been once called the god of shinobi. That god of shinobi had to raise the white flag by giving Naruto 10 bowls of ramen so that he could stop bugging him to teach him techniques. Naruto had started to develop his technique. When Naruto had read about how quick the Yondaime was, he was impressed. To be able to take an army in mere seconds. Then when Naruto had learned about manipulating chakra to make yourself go faster, Naruto was determined to master it. He went to the library and found the basic elements and chakra exercises. He practiced them at first, and then decided it was time to start developing his technique. Enforcing your legs with chakra was alright, but it was a total waste. You had to reinforce both your limbs and your foot so that you could push off, and you needed a solid footing to even move. Naruto knew this was not a good technique no matter how many used it. He needed something versatile, something that would allow him to move in several successions in high speed with less necessity for sure footing. Naruto started out at applying chakra to only his calves and foot. To his disappointment, he got a lesser result. Naruto then decided to focus chakra in all of his legs and push off. To his delight it was faster, but when he tried to do it in succession he found out it took at least 2 seconds to move, and that was important for shinobi. Naruto was stuck for quite a while, and he even asked help from his Anbu. They did not know and tried experimenting on their own also, and would show Naruto of their theories when they were guarding him. Surprisingly, Naruto's solution came from a manga he read from time to time. Naruto looked at the manga in disbelief. This was it. He had to push out on the chakra just how Yuki from Code Breaker used sound. By pushing chakra out in a sudden burst he could move at incredible speed. Naruto faced a clear runway that was about a mile open. Naruto placed chakra in his left foot, leaned forward and pushed off with chakra. He burst forward at unbelievable speed. He immediately focused on his right foot, stepped and pushed forwards and kept going. Naruto continued this and crossed the mile-long runway in a minute. Naruto was slightly tired at the exertion but was happy he could use it. Naruto had decided to call it flash step or shuinpa. He could traverse in all directions on the ground. The only weakness in the technique was that if he wanted to turn he would have to pause for a second. Of course he could cut down on the time, but this delay could make him predictable. When he asked Kitty-chan about it, she said that instead of realizing it as a weakness, he could use it as bait so that people would attack him at that moment. Naruto smiled at the thought. October 10th. It was Naruto's birthday, and he was running away from several chunins. He had used his shunpa to get away from some, but he couldn't keep enough to get away from all of them. The number of chunins and civilians was enormous that his 4 guards had a hard time fighting them off without killing them. Dabi-kun had told Naruto to run as fast as he could. Naruto did. First to the Hokage tower, but he was cut off, so he had to move to a different area. He had used it so much he was getting tired. He was finally cornered with barely any chakra and 6 chunins had caught up to him. Naruto backed up to the wall and tried to pull on chakra, but he couldn't find much to do a shunpa or enough to climb the wall. Damn it, what to do, Naruto thought desperately. Naruto felt a sharp pain in his leg to see that a chunin had thrown a kunai in it. Ha, can't escape now, demon. Naruto backed up against the wall. Naruto analyzed the situation like all geniuses did in life-threatening situations. Damn it, I don't have enough chakra for another shunpa, and maybe I could climb the wall, but they'll probably catch me. Could I fight them? No, it's 6 versus 1 and I'm only 7. Damn it, what to do? I'm gonna rip you up so bad. One of the chunin said while taking out another kunai. The chunin threw his kunai, and Naruto moved to one side, dodging the kunai. It embedded itself next to his head. Naruto grabbed the kunai and held it out in a defensive stance. One of the chunins came at him. Naruto crouched down, allowing any strikes to pass over his head, and slashed the chunin. Naruto was lucky that the chunin was drunk and he was particularly skilled at aiming. But even with that he only slashed the man's nose. Argue, little fucker, the chunin cried out in agony. One of the other chunin grabbed Naruto's hand and twisted it. Naruto's pain skyrocketed, and then he heard a voice, almost thinking it was Kami. What the hell do you think you are doing? The chunins jumped back and a man in white robes with long black hair jumped in between the attackers and Naruto. This man had white eyes and his veins around his eyes were bulging. The chunin stumbled back. It's Hyuga Hayashi, he's a clan leader. Shit. They tried to run but found out they couldn't move. Naruto heard a voice and looked past the chunin to see 3 people. The one with the pineapple-shaped hair muttered simply, your actions are too troublesome, so they had to be stopped. A chubby man nodded and jumped over the chunins to look at Naruto. The chubby man took out a food pill and gave it to Naruto. Naruto just stared. The chubby man understood his confusion. It'll help soothe the pain. Naruto trusted the man and swallowed it. The chubby man was right. It made Naruto feel relaxed and his head cleared. The final man came over. He had long blonde hair and a ponytail. He bent down and whispered softly, Naruto, I'm gonna put you to sleep so we can get you to the hospital. Naruto nodded and let the man cast the jutsu on him to sleep. Inoichi picked up Naruto carefully and gave him to his best bud Choza. Choza immediately left for the hospital. Inoichi turned towards the 6 chunins. The 6 chunins were very afraid that day. Inoichi simply said, send it to the TI, I'll deal with them myself. Hokage Tower. After the clan heads had finished their personal business, they met at Hokage Tower to debrief with the Hokage. They entered the door to find the Hokage waiting for them along with 4 Anbu who had stains of blood on them. The clan leaders simply connected it with Naruto and went on in. Hokage looked at the clan heads and nodded. It's good to see you and thank you for protecting Naruto. Then the Sandaime looked at his Anbu and nodded. Wolf went through the whole event from watching Naruto when he left the apartment to being attacked and telling Naruto to run, using Shunpa. At this the clan leaders were puzzled and Heishi decided to voice this. Hokage-sama, what is this Shunpa? The professor smirked. It is a speed technique made by Naruto that allows him to travel extreme distances, and if he perfects it he can very well be the next Yellow Flash. The former god of shinobi got raised eyebrows and jaw drops. Shikaku was the first to recover troublesome. How did he make it? The Hokage immediately made the reply. He broke into libraries and studied. All the people in the room chuckled at the thought of a little boy breaking into a library just to study. They just wished their kids would do that. Then they all got serious as the Hokage's face hardened. We have a problem and I need your opinion on this. I have heard from Jiraiya. IWA wants to break off from their alliance with Kumo. And when Jiraiya went to Kumo he received an alliance treaty from Kumo to us. With our ally Kumo and Suna it would be likely that IWA and Kiri will grow hostile. Because of this I wanted every clan to up the regiment and prepare. The room grew silent. You could hear a penny drop on the carpet floor. Inoichi was the first to say something. Sir, I think it is unlikely that there will be war because it'll be 3 versus 2. The other leaders nodded. But Sarutobi shook his head. I have also heard activity in the grasslands. If that becomes a new village, and if they ally with IWA and Kiri we will have war, and either way we must become stronger. After a few minutes of discussion the Umbu left to spread the news to other clans and leaders to prepare their men. A year later, Naruto started academy at the age of 8 along with his others his age. Even though he could have started a year earlier he did not want to go ahead. He had spent another year looking at taijutsu style that would fit him. Naruto was tipped off about a certain taijutsu style, the soaring fist, and was practicing it steadily. The soaring fist mainly focused on getting out of the way from hits and using extreme and heavy punches from different angles to take out the opponent. It was a fast and powerful, perfect for Naruto's technique. And while his visits to the library he found a particular scroll by the Nine-Dane himself about deception. It said it was the key to any shinobi. It could cause people to underestimate you for your looks or overestimate you on your reputation. Any misinterpretation can be used as an advantage, and every advantage was another way to win. This made Naruto think deeply about what to do against the hatred. To disguise himself so that he could mislead everyone he would fake everything. He would fake his attitude, fake his knowledge, and fake his power. He would hide it all to ensure that they would underestimate him. No matter how long it took, Naruto decided in the academy he test this disguise, this deception. In class he would be an average student. He would not stand out. He would not excel at anything. If he excelled he would stand out. Naruto knew that people would not want to see someone like him for whatever reason excel. He could gather that much at least. Finally, when the time comes to excel he would grasp it and take down anything in his way. Naruto yawned as he got up. It was finally the day he would start the academy. Naruto sighed. He already knew the curriculum for the first year of the academy from his readings in the library. He already knew what he was going to do. He would stare at the teacher and be blank while he practices a very difficult chakra exercise of making a string, stiff but still malleable, into that of a paperclip. This was satisfying even though Naruto wanted to practice his elemental affinities. Naruto knew his affinities were fire and wind. Wind and fire were very dangerous, or at least that was what Birdie-chan told him. Then he tried to practice it, and it didn't turn out so well. Wolf and Dolphin Hog tied him and dragged him up a really tall tree and hung him there until he swore on the ramen gods that he would not practice elemental jutsu. Yes, Naruto did swear on it, and yes, Naruto did repent for his sins later. So Naruto snuck into the library a couple months ago. This time he had Doggy-kun and Birdie-chan come with him. He read the chakra manipulation all the way through, memorizing it. After a good old 2 hours of straight reading, which was a miracle for Naruto. Both Anbu and Naruto were tired. Well, okay, the Anbu were bored as hell and Naruto was sleepy. Now why hadn't Naruto gotten his research done already? Due to the fact that when Naruto read something he didn't understand, he wanted to research on it, but the Anbu knew very well that would lead one thing to another and another and another until he had pretty much gone through a whole trip and end around library and finally settle back down and read the chakra manipulation scroll again. Then when he finds another thing he did not understand, the process happens all over again. So Wolf had the very annoying task of making Naruto read everything in the chakra scroll first, and then dragging him home. Wolf needed his sleep too. When Naruto went home he found a taijutsu scroll with a feather on it. Naruto made a note to say thank you to Birdie-chan. As Naruto went through his daily exercises of dashing through trees, walking up and down the tree, across the river and back, sticking leaves to his fingertips while hanging upside down, and practicing Shunpa for 30 minutes, Naruto put on his disgusting orange jumpsuit and ran to academy not wanting to be late. Naruto walked towards the academy. He arrived just as he wanted to be, not too early as to draw attention but not too late to look like a fool. Arriving when more kids arrived would be optimal since other kids would be distracted amongst themselves. Naruto walked and looked around. Of course he did so inconspicuously. He noticed a lot of clan members or heirs. This made Naruto raise an eyebrow. Maybe he wouldn't have to pretend at all, or at least not hide his ability all that much. Naruto walked to the middle right of the classroom and sat down near the Aburame heir. Naruto turned to him and held out a hand. "Hello, my name is Uzumaki Naruto," Naruto said with a small smile on his face, but his eyes were dazzling with hope of a friend. That is, of course, if this Abram's parents weren't biased against him like for some reason all the other parents were. The young Aburame had a large coat that covered most of his face and glasses on his eyes, so it was hard to see his reaction. But the positive thing was that the Aburame turned to him and shook his hand. "My name is Aburame Shino," said while nodding. Naruto nodded as well. Naruto then turned and examined what kind of heirs did he have in the class. He had one from the Uchiha clan, Sasuke, brother of Itachi Uchiha. He would have to watch out for him. Next was a Hyuga Hinata. Naruto had heard from Dogi-kun what happened to her and pitied her. Naruto made a silent promise to not let it happen again. The other one was an Inuzuka Kiba, though not the clan heir. He seemed like a prideful boy. Another was the Ino Shikacho trio kids. Naruto would definitely look out and watch over these three for like the Hyuga. He owed a life debt to their families. Naruto kept his promises, even the unspoken ones. Naruto broke out of his musings and used all his willpower to not jump out of his seat and yell. This chakra was the exact copy of Dolphy-kun. Naruto clenched his fists to calm himself down and turned towards the door. It slid open to reveal a man wearing a chunin vest. He had his hair tied in a ponytail and a scar across his face. Naruto's eyes narrowed as he suspected the newcomer's identity. Iruka walked to the center of class, cleared his throat. When the class did not listen, Naruto could see a vein bulge on his head. "Shut the fuck up, brats." Naruto reeled back at the force of the yell and thought, yep, definitely Dolphy-kun. The years passed and Naruto became friends with all the students there. He was a nobody there, or for at least people who couldn't see through his facade. There were only certain people who could see that he was holding back, and Naruto was not surprised who did see through it. Nara Shikamaru saw through it after 3 weeks and questioned him nonchalantly while playing shogi. Yamanaka Ino, a great pretender, saw through it next. She pretended to be a weak girl, but in fact, like him, it was a mask. Naruto asked her about it, and she said that her father Yamanaka Inoichi had told her how he acted in school and used to act. Another person was obviously the silent one, Aburame Shino, who, though his talks with Naruto, figured it out easily. Naruto made close friends with all of these peoples, but he would not show them his true skills. When they asked him about it, Naruto just referred them to the 9-Dame scroll. Naruto stayed in the background, scoring just average. But in secret, Naruto trained in his style, becoming more proficient. And now under the undercover Anbu Dolphy-kun, Naruto studied more history. Time skipped 4 years later. Naruto trained heavily over the past 4 years in secret. His Anbu guards had retired from service when he was 10. He made sure they had a great send-off since he did color all of their underpants pink. Wolf's hair was now yellow. Dolphin's scare was now a tattoo. Well, for bird and cat, Naruto was too scared to do anything to them. Last time he tried, well, he got an extremely stern talking to. I am the soaring fist style. There were 7 levels and Naruto was on level 6. He learned that this taijutsu style not only was a way to strike quick but also from afar. It showed a use of chakra and how to push it out in a burst. But the only problem was he compressed the chakra enough no matter how much control he had. When he asked the Hokage about this, the Sandaime wrote several seals on his arms that automatically compressed the chakra and shoot it out when he pushed chakra in it. Naruto walked into the Hokage office to find the old man working steadily on his dreaded enemy paperwork. Naruto cleared his throat and the professor looked up. The Sandaime brightened. "Yes, Naruto-kun. Old man, I am having trouble compressing my chakra so I can send it out of my hand." The old man's eyes immediately narrowed. "Naruto, what have I told you about?" Naruto raised his hand to placate the god of shinobi. "It is for my taijutsu style I found a while back." The Hokage sighed and said in a tired voice, "I may not be a genius in seals, but I am adept. I'll use them to compress the chakra. Come here, Naruto." As Naruto walked, the old man took out ink and brush. Then Naruto started to ask more about seals. After several weeks, the Sandaime relented. He took pages out of books and gave them for Naruto to study. Naruto learned from explosive tags to storage seals. Naruto was adept at seals, and he knew that the tattoo on his stomach was not a tattoo but a storage one, even if he couldn't understand it. But what was this, the thing so many hated him for? As for his shunpa, Naruto copied, refined and made seals on his legs to create the shunpa. Now Naruto could control the distance he could cross by just focusing how much chakra he focused on his legs. Naruto also started to cover his hands with gloves so no one would notice the seals by accident. To Naruto's delight, Naruto read that if chakra is focused by seals, it couldn't be properly seen by the Sharingan. A year after the Uchiha massacre, Naruto started to dislike the Sharingan for its copying abilities. He read up many scrolls on how the Sharingan was used to copy or steal so many things it pissed him off. Yes, it was a good weapon, but there was a point where it had to stop. The stuck-up Uchiha did not help either. Naruto felt sorry for Ino, who had to keep up her mask as a love-sick fangirl. It was almost time for academy testing when Naruto was called into the Hokage's office with Dolphy-kun. Naruto looked at the Hokage and did not see the old man he used to play with but the leader of a hidden village. Naruto immediately dropped his mask and was all business. Dolphin immediately started the conversation. "You called, Hokage-sama." Sarutobi nodded. "Mizuki has been receiving information from an outside source. I believe he plans to steal something from Konoha, but I do know what. Naruto, I am going to give you a mission to fail. If Mizuki approaches you and asks you to do something, do it. I will have Iruka tail you. When the time is right he will appear and both of you will take out Mizuki. Naruto mentally smiled at the part of both. Both said in unison, "Hi Hokage-sama." As planned, Naruto failed, and when Naruto came out he silently left the room without a word. He sat on the swing and pretended to look sad. One of his friends tried to approach him, but he simply jumped away. As planned, Mizuki told him to take the scroll and learn a technique. Not as planned, Naruto read the first technique in the scroll quickly. Kage Bunshin Ehem allows user $2 #LYSH #TITS and answer 2 my prayers. Now I can read all the scrolls. Yes. Naruto quickly went through it, but sadly Mizuki had not arrived yet. Naruto sighed. Well, Naruto thought smirking, might as well take a peek at the other sections of the scroll. Naruto opened another part of the scroll, clone EXPLOSDON. Oichichich, this one was even simpler than shadow clones, so Naruto learned it as well. Naruto skipped over some of Nidaime's water jutsu and showed Aime's earth jutsu and came to where he wanted. Sandaime's fire techniques. Naruto looked at, shook his head and looked at it again. IT was a seal that was placed on one's arms. IT allowed the arms to be covered in fire. Amazing, creating seals that would transmute your chakra into fire elemental chakra. Naruto quickly memorized the seals and in his head mapped out how to incorporate it into his own and use its chakra to power it. ARGG, this is so exciting, but I need to write this all out. Let's read it one more time. As Naruto did, he felt the presence of Dofukun in front of him. Naruto looked up and smiled. Hey Irika, sensei. As planned, Irika scolded him for stealing the scroll. Naruto kept smiling and said, but sensei, Mizuki sensei told me. Dolphin feigned surprise and said Mizuki. All of a sudden they both turned their heads and jumped out of the way. A hail of kunai stabbed in their place. Mizuki's eyes widened. How did they sense him? How did they even dodge that? Naruto glared at the man. Mizuki team, you're under arrest for treason. Mizuki's jaw dropped. What the hell? Mizuki decided to play it cool. Ahaha, stupid brat, do you actually think you were going to steal the scroll? Naruto smiled and Mizuki's heart dropped. Yep, I was ordered to by the Hokage. Mizuki became enraged. How dare this demon talk to him like that? You know what you are, hun? Naruto, you're the Kyuubi. Naruto's eyes widened. He stepped back. His eyes widened, jaw slack. Mizuki's heart was filled with glee. Yes, Mizuki took out a shuriken and was about to throw it when his body suddenly felt weak. He felt something wet drip down on his clothes. Mizuki looked down to see 4 kunais in his body. One just below his neck, one just below his heart, one in his lung, and the final one in his most sensitive part, but it didn't matter because he died quickly. Naruto closed his eyes and fell to the ground. Mizuki was taken care of by his old guards, so he was fine. He pulled up his knees and held them in pain. Dofukun landed next to him and put a hand on his shoulder. Naruto looked up into Dofukun's eyes. He saw regret, sadness, and comfort, love and friendship. Irika smiled bitterly and said, come on, let's go to the Hokage. 4 hours later, after debriefing with Naruto and a long explanation that Naruto wasn't the demon, Naruto was finally able to leave the Hokage tower and go to his house. Naruto put away his new forehead protector and sat on the bed and sat for a while. He reached out with his senses to make sure the familiar presences weren't there. Safe from anyone prying into his privacy, Naruto smirked. His plan worked perfectly. Naruto had learned of the Kyuubi a long time ago. Of course, he had never met face to face with the bastard demon. He figured it out with the seals he was given. I mean, come on, people calling you a demon or fox brat every day, it kinda made you wonder why. Naruto, being a genius, figured it out simply. Naruto took off his horrid jumpsuit and placed it on a hook in the middle of the room. Naruto then took out his own set of ink and brush and started writing away plans. He did so for 40 minutes until he was satisfied with his layout. Then Naruto started to draw on seals that would melt his soaring fist seals into Sandaime's raging flames, but instead of using his chakra they would use the Kyuubis. You see, many people think seals are really hard, not really. All you need to know is what is what. For example, explosive tag simply is the intake of chakra and release of energy like a grenade. So in reality it is just exploding chakra. Seals is like a microwave. Instead of warming it by yourself over a fire, you could just put it in a microwave, and it would do it for you. All it needed was energy. Now the different types of seals are not that hard either. Just more letters or more combinations. Instead of 24 alphabets there were 298, and the bigger and more elaborate seals were just a combination of that. So if one knew how to break down seals into their base, that person could easily understand a foreign seal in just a few seconds. Naruto was doing exactly that. He had already broken down the seals in his soaring fist style, and he spent 20 minutes breaking down the raging flames. After he mixed them together and added a buffer to collect 50% of demon chakra that had not been purified. This was like killing 2 birds with 2 stones. Though the seal on his stomach did in fact purify and add to his chakra, there was a constant flow of demonic chakra in him. Now normally Hyubis couldn't see it, but Naruto guessed that it was a little sliver going through the chakra system. This messed up his control because he had his normal chakra and then this super hyped up chakra that he had to tame. And chakra is like college students in a party. When one area gets pumped up, the whole party gets pumped up and breakouts the beer. So by taking some of those slivers he could pump up, could easily power up his new flaming skylark seal. A/N. Here's my little spiel on this. The demonic chakra is obviously million times more potent than normal chakra, so powering up a seal should be no problem. Now considering there is a non-stop flow of small pubi chakra going through Naruto's body, I think it's gonna charge up fast. Also Naruto is not going to put this onto his legs because he thinks his flaming skylark won't charge fast enough if he did. But where I came up with the name I have no idea. Naruto finished the seals and smiled. It had taken him 2 hours but he had did it. Naruto faced the horrid orange jumpsuit. He sent a small amount of chakra into his right arm. Immediately his arm was covered in dark red flames. Naruto took the Makuken stance. His punch lashed out a burst of flame burning through the horrid orange jumpsuit, through the wall behind it, the other 5 walls behind it, and finally out into the air. Naruto looked wide-eyed and then looked back at his hands. Naruto immediately stopped the flow by drawing back that sliver of chakra he sent to his arm. He then looked back to the burning carnage he had left with his punch. Naruto smacked his head. Damn it, how am I going to finish this? Then Naruto remembered what he had just learned. Naruto put his hands in a familiar seal taiju kage bunshin no jutsu, and 20 clones appeared. Naruto smirked. Oh yes, this was the life. The next day, Naruto woke up and stared at his ceiling. He yawned and stretched his arms. He looked around and saw his Konoha protector and smiled. He put it on and looked at himself in the mirror. Now he could stop pretending. Now he could show the world who he truly was. Naruto then walked over to the new wooden wall his clones had made. Naruto tapped a maple and not bad. Naruto cooked breakfast and washed dishes. He did his stretches and remembered he had nothing wear. Naruto bit his lip. Maybe he could visit Dofukun for clothes. Then Naruto spotted a bag with carved statues of a bird on a wolf and a dolphin jumping over a cat. Naruto smiled. Today's a good day. Naruto walked down to the academy in his new getup. He wore a black sleeveless shirt so he wouldn't burn it when he activated the FSL, as he dubbed it. He now wore bandages covering his hands and forearms. He wore a brown cargo pants with multiple pockets and hooks that had shuriken holsters on them. Though these clothes may not seem much underneath, there was a hard mesh steel similar to Dofukun's girlfriend wore. Naruto got in and looked up. He saw his friends smile. They knew what this meant. They knew this was the end of pretending and the beginning of a new era. Yes, Naruto thought this is a good day. Hokage Tower early in the morning. The Hokage looked at his Jonins. They had finished assigning 1 through 6, and now came the hard part, the specialized teams. 7 through 10 were the specialized teams, which students would be the forefront of Konoha's ability. Before we start, is there anyone you would like to claim? Kakashi raised his hand. The Uchiha boy. No one disagreed. Of course, I mean the Uchiha boy needed a Sharingan mentor. Anyone else? Surprisingly, Asuma raised his hand. The next gen for Ino Shikacho. Sarutobi nodded. Alright, that was actually a good idea. Because Asuma had worked a lot with the trio. Then Kakashi raised his hand again. Sarutobi nodded. Chokichi-sama, I would like to recommend Shinobi's Aburain Shino, Inuzuka Kiba, and Uzumaki Naruto for Kurenai's team. Everyone choked. Someone actually recommending a team for someone else. WTF, confused face was everyone's face. It was unheard of. No, not even thought about. Of course someone could ask for a specific student. Maybe 2 students was pushing it. The rare exception for a full team, but for someone else that was asking for a kunai up your ass. Kurenai whipped her head around to Kakashi, her face red with rage and her red eyes had turned into the glare of demon. But Kakashi had taken out his book and used the ungodly powers of the Aika to counter the death stare. Thank you Aika gods, Kakashi thought. Kakashi, do you want to tell me why the fuck you recommended a team for me? Sarutobi coughed, and Kurenai blushed in embarrassment, and bowed. I'm sorry for my outburst, Hokage-sama. The professor waved his hand and turned back to Kakashi. Your reasoning for your suggestion, Kakashi. Kakashi nodded. I believe Kurenai can develop this team into an assault track and capture team. With the situation with the other villagers, we need teams that are more diverse. Sarutobi nodded and the genins chosen. Kakashi nodded again. Kiba will obviously be a tracker, but his clan techniques can also be used as an assault. Shino can easily track like Kiba and capture with his Kikai bugs. Finally, Naruto is fit for all 3. He has honed his senses after a few incidents. This caused some men and women in the room to flinch, and he knows enough anatomy to knock out a person with a saban. And finally with the techniques he has just learned and that he can easily be used in combat. By that, Kakashi meant the Shunpa step, but he had promised Naruto to keep it a secret, and he respected that. Sarutobi nodded. He knew what Kakashi was talking about, but Kurenai didn't. Once again glared at Kakashi, but the blessings of the Aika gods' blessings still held true. Kakashi, do you mean to tell me you don't want him because of it? Kakashi looked at her, and gave her his famous eye smile. I said that, not it. Sarutobi cleared his throat once again, and they turned their attention back to him. It's decided then, Kurenai, you will get Aburain Shino, Inuzuka Kiba, and Uzumaki Naruto. Hi Hokage-sama. Kakashi, you will get the rest. Hi Hokage-sama. Sarutobi stood up and looked at his Jonins, his elites. I will not lie to you, we are on the brink of another war. No one will be cut this time, but everyone will be trained. We will up the regiment on all genins, training them 6 days a week. Make them tough and strong. Pick up your own training as well. Do not slack off, and carry the will of the fire with you. Dismissed. With that, the Jonins left to get their teams. Sarutobi sighed and pulled out his pipe once again. Naruto was sitting talking in a droll fashion with Kiba, who responded pretty well. Kiba and Naruto were wondering who they were going to be teamed up with, so they talked and jibed about who would be in which teams. They argued about a couple placements, but they both agreed that if Sasuke was put with Ino and Sakura, Sasuke would suicide. Naruto said in 3 days. Kiba gave him one. Then Dolphin came in with a clipboard. Now of course Dolphin or Iruka was not in his Umbu getup, but Naruto always put that tag on him. Everyone quieted down. This would be the last time they would consider him a teacher, and they knew to respect that. Iruka looked at all of them. Today you will graduate and become ninja. But unlike how we usually do things, we are going to test your abilities and train them to the limit. Many of the students murmured at the change, but stopped once Iruka continued on. I will not lie to you, we are on the brink of another war. Hostilities are high, and your actions in the future will decide how this play out. Train your hardest. Keep your comrades safe, carry the will of the fire. And with that the students held their breaths as he listed the names. Iruka started to call out the first 6 teams, and they left with their jounin instructors. Iruka looked at the 9 left and sighed. You guys are the specialized teams, you'll be run into the ground, and then some. You are now the foundations of Konoha, don't slack off one bit. As Iruka called out his team: Inuzuka Kiba, Uzumaki Naruto, and Aburame Shino. Naruto smirked. He got a good team, a versatile team. Kiba and him were perfect in combat. Kiba and Shino were good trackers too, and Shino and him could capture if put to the test. Kiba jumped down to Naruto's row, and Shino was already sitting in the row. Kiba gave a feral grin and Akamaru woofed in glee. Shino nodded to both of them, and Naruto just leaned back and smiled. Looks like we're teammates now, Naruto said in a satisfied voice. Yeah, Kiba responded. Shino remained silent and let the 2 talkative people do the chattering. Then Kiba noticed the bandages. Hey Naruto, what are those bandages for? Naruto looked at his hands and then turned over to see that Team 7 was still in the room. Naruto turned back to Kiba. Tell you later when we are with Sensei. Speak of the devil. Kurenai Yahi just walked in. Teammate with me please. They followed Kurenai into a cafe and sat down in a booth. Naruto made sure to look away when the waitress was serving them so she wouldn't find out it was him and cause trouble. They got their food and waited for Kurenai to speak. Kurenai gave a nice friendly smile and started to speak. My name is Kurenai Yahi. I like my friends, learning genjutsu. My dislikes are perverts and sexists. My dream is to become a master of genjutsu and raise a good team. The whole team blushed at the comment. After a few seconds of silence, Naruto decided to take charge. Naruto gave a smile. My name is Uzumaki Naruto. I like ramen, friends, learning and reading, and a certain bunch of 4. Kakashi sneezed on Sakura. Iruka sneezed on his food. The Nico sneezed on her boyfriend who coughed. And the eagle sneezed on her nephew Niji. My dislikes are traitors, biased people, how the library closes late. My dream is to become the greatest nin I can. Kurenai mentally put a note that Naruto had ambition, which was quality and a leader, if controlled of course. Shino looked at Naruto quizzically, or so everyone thought, because they could see his eyebrows rise above his head. Why do you not like the library closing late? Naruto smiled at him and nonchalantly said, because it makes me wait longer to sneak. I never mind. Naruto caught himself just in time, or at least so that the other genin could not hear. Naruto blushed and looked away. Kurenai raised one of her own eyebrows from sneaking into a library. Kiba decided to go next. My name is Inuzuka Kiba. I like Akamaru, my friends, and chasing cats. I dislike my sister giving me nuddies, people who can't keep secrets, and bads. Kiba shuddered for a brief moment, and then continued. My dream is to become a legendary tracker. Kiba nodded to Shino, who nodded back. My name, Aburame Shino. I like friends, bugs, and learning how to use clan techniques. I dislike people killing bugs, water and pesticides. My dream, to be a worth clan leader. Shino nodded to signify that he was done. Kurenai smiled once more. Okay, tomorrow you'll be tested on your abilities, and we will find out what you need to improve on. I'm sure Iruka has told you that you cannot fail, but if you don't do well, I will make you train 7 days a week instead of 6. Your objective tomorrow is to capture me. You have the rest of the day to figure out a plan. Meet up with me at Training Ground 12 at 8 o'clock. The trio nodded to show that they understood her message. Kurenai left, and the new teammate walked out in silence. Naruto reached out with his senses to make sure Kurenai had left. After a few minutes, he was sure that she was not in the immediate vicinity. Naruto turned to Shino. Did you mark her with a Kekai? Shino nodded. It seemed logical to do it at the time. Naruto turned to Kiba. You got her scent. Akamaru yipped twice. Kiba translated. Yep. Alright, follow me, I know a good place to train. Both Kiba and Shino nodded, and Naruto led the way to training grounds number 39. It was pretty large and clear, but there were some large boulders planted on certain spots for target practice or cover. Once they had arrived, Shino decided to speak up. I think it would be good if we knew each other's abilities. Naruto nodded. Yeah, that's a good idea, I'll start. He waited for any disagreement but received none, so continued. My taijutsu is called the soaring fist style. It mainly focuses on the hands and striking from multiple angles. I have not mastered it yet, but I am close. Shino nodded and added his 2 cents after we finished explaining. Let's have a spar to better grasp each other's techniques. I have a couple techniques. My first one is Kage Bunshin. It allows me to make a solid clone, but it takes an unnatural amount of chakra. My second technique is a combo of the Bunshin. Jabaka Bunshin, which allows me to make my Kage Bunshin explodes, but this is very dangerous and takes up a huge amount of chakra. My signature technique is Shunpa. By concentrating chakra into my feet and then pushing it out in a burst, I can move in incredible speeds. Shino was interested in this technique. Naruto, could you demonstrate this Shunpa? Naruto nodded. He faced in a clear path, concentrated chakra and stepped. Whoosh, Naruto disappeared and reappeared a quarter of a mile where he stood. Naruto then turned on his heel, stepped once more and came back to them. Kiba's jaw dropped, and Shino's eyebrows could clearly be seen. Holy shit, Kiba yelled. Naruto blushed and scratched the back of his head. Thanks. Kiba jumped up like a giddy child. You gotta teach me how to do that. Naruto sighed. I don't think the technique would fit you. Kiba stopped immediately and looked sharply at Naruto. Why not? Naruto looked Kiba dead in the eyes. Your clan techniques make you go on your 4 hands and legs. I think it would be better if we adapted Shunpa into something that would fit you. Kiba closed his mouth and nodded. Naruto wasn't denying his request, just saying that maybe there was something better for him. Naruto then unwound his bandages to reveal the array of seals. This is my masterpiece. Kiba and Shino looked at it intently until Kiba asked the question they were both thinking. What is it? It's an array of seals I call the Flaming Sky Lark Seal. It automatically converts my chakra into flame elemental chakra and covers my arms with it. When I push chakra into it, I can make a burst of flame come out. It is very destructive, and I will never use this technique on an ally. It's just too dangerous. Naruto then rewrapped his arm with the bandages. Finally, I know how to dispel genjutsu, but using the actual style is useless to me because my chakra seems resistant. Kiba nodded in understanding. He was worthless in the department of genjutsu also. Kiba once again decided to follow any ways like Naruto. My genjutsu is non-existent. Kiba picked up Akamaru and put him on his head. My taijutsu is from my family clan. I get on my hands and feet and charge on 4 legs like a dog. It uses speed and makes powerful blows. As for my ninjutsu, I have 2 main ones. The man-beast clone, in which Akamaru turns into a replica of me, and Getsuga is when we launch ourselves at the opponents spinning rapidly. It is similar to a drill attack. His teammates nodded to show their understanding in his technique. Finally, it was Shino's turn. I have no genjutsu and my taijutsu is from a simple brawl style. Made my count to get in close and apply Kikai bugs. I know the bug clone and bug dome technique. Both Kiba and Naruto sweat dropped at Shino's lack of words. Naruto then turned to Kiba and asked, can I see your Getsuga on that rock? Naruto pointed to a small boulder a couple feet away. Kiba nodded and yelled, let's go Akamaru. Akamaru turned into a replica of Kiba on all 4s. They ran at the rock and started to spin Getsuga. Kiba and Akamaru crushed the rocks into bits. Akamaru turned back into his dog form and yipped happily. Kiba got back onto his feet and gave a V sign. Yeah, how was that? Naruto nodded. That was good, but he was distracted thinking on how to improve it. They're very destructive but lacking speed and against the Jounin we need to be faster. Of course I am faster with Shunpa. I can outrun Umbu, but Naruto snapped his fingers. That's it, he exclaimed. Naruto ran over to Kiba and Akamaru. Hey, can you start spinning in midair? Kiba thought for a second. Yeah, but if we did something like that we would have to be in midair already and moving forward. Naruto smiled. Alright, try again and let's go against that one. Naruto pointed to a huge rock. Kiba jaw dropped. He whipped his head towards Naruto. Do you want to get us killed? Naruto shook his head. Trust me. Kiba shook his head. Fine, but you're covering my hospital bills. Once again Akamaru turned into Kiba. Naruto then said to both of them as he grabbed the scruff of their collar, make sure to start spinning as soon as I let go. Naruto used Shunpa with a little extra due to the extra weight. He went forwards at high speed. His arms groaned in pain. Naruto landed and threw the 2 forward. Goo! Naruto cried out. Kiba and Akamaru started to spin, but instead of swirling they went so fast they were their own separate missile. They crushed through the rock, leaving 2 clear tunnels between it. Naruto tried to get up and found an arm supporting him. Naruto looked over to see Shino helping him up. That was impressive, Shino said, nodding towards the 2 smoking tunnels in the boulder that were just made. Naruto smiled. Yeah. Shino and Naruto ran towards where Kiba and Akamaru were. They found Akamaru in the fetal position, his beady eyes replaced with swirls. Kib, who was next to him, was no better. He was lying sprawled on his back and swirls his eyes. Shino set Naruto down near Kiba and then sat down himself. Naruto turned to Shino and smiled. This is a good technique, huh? Shino nodded. By the way, Shino, how much chakra control do you know? Shino thought for a moment. I know tree climbing and water walking at a young age before I got my Kikai, so I would not endanger them. Naruto nodded. That was expected from a clan like them. Well then they are probably good on chakra control, cause I know the Inuzuka work on it also. But they don't have a lot of techniques. Naruto snapped his fingers. Hey Shino, do you think you can sleep over tonight at my house? Shino raised his eyebrows in shock, but he quickly recovered. Maybe Naruto, I am assuming we should bring Kiba as well. Naruto nodded. What is this about sleeping over? Kiba got up groaning. Well, you guys need more jutsu and I know where to find them, but we need to go at night. Kiba looked at Naruto with a questioning look on his face. Shino answered for Naruto. Does this have to do with sneaking into a library? Naruto nodded. Kiba jumped up, grabbing Akamaru and putting him in his coat. Come on then, let's go. Shino stopped him. Wait, we still have to spar. Kiba froze and scratched his head, looking sheepish. Oh yeah, forgot about that. Inuzuka clan house. When they arrived at Kiba's it was pretty late. Shino had passed out some energy bars for dinner. Kiba opened the door and the trio went in. Kiba walked in through the yard and into the main house. Where have you been, pup? Kiba's eyes went wide. Duck. He yelled. His team did so and a bottle came sailing over his head. Naruto saw a feral woman who had just thrown the bottle. Naruto assumed her to be Inuzuka-tsum, the clan leader. As they stood, Kiba started yelling back, "MOM. Geez, why are you overreacting? My team was sparring." Sim looked over at his teammates and lingered on Naruto. Sim shrugged, "Fine, now why are they here, over for dinner or something?" Kiba shook his head, "Now we were going to do some late night training and camp out, is that okay?" Sim shrugged again, "Fine, but you come back tomorrow night." "Got it, pup." Kiba blushed and nodded, "Yeah, mom." "Good, now get out of here." And with that they were kicked out of the grounds. Naruto turned to Kiba with a sweat drop on his face. "Kiba, is it just me, or is your mom a bit?" Kiba looked at him and sighed, "Yeah, I know." Aburame clan grounds. Shino had led them to his house and Kiba and Naruto found it was layered with trees for bug production. Shino led them through the clan grounds and finally into a back brush area. Naruto saw an older version of Shino. He had the same hair, glasses, heck, even the coat was similar. "Father," the clan head Aburame Shibi turned to them. "Shino, my apologies for being late. My teammates and I sparred to test each other's skills." Shibi nodded, "I believe you have more to say." Shino nodded, "Also I would like to camp out today and spend more times planning with my teammates." Shibi nodded and turned back to his work. With that, teammate left silent at the difference between Aburame and Inuzuka. Naruto turned to his teammates and scratched his head. "Didn't your parents work on the same team?" Both of them nodded. Naruto whistled in awe and kept walking back to his apartment with his teammates in tow. An hour later, Naruto showed them his apartment and got out some spare futons. Kiba was lounging his couch with Akamaru, and Shino was sitting on a chair. Naruto looked at them and sat down. Naruto decided they needed to work. "It's going to be an hour and a half at the least before we can go into the library without getting caught. We have 2 objects in there. 1, find out jutsu, and 2, find out about Kurenai-sensei." Shino nodded but then asked, "How are we going to find about Kurenai-sensei?" Kiba spoke up, "This time I heard that they kept records in the library, so we may be able to find something about her in there." Shino raised an eyebrow. "I thought they kept records in the Hokage Tower." Naruto shook his head. "That is official registration, but information like test evaluation or psyche tests are in the library, most likely in the restricted section. I can probably break in by picking the seals." Shino decided to keep the ball rolling. "I think we should work on some tactics." Naruto and Kiba nodded. The next day, Kurenai got up bright and early to get some nice and healthy food. Kurenai yawned and felt a hand on her waist. She looked down and saw it was small and petite. "Oh shit oich as-chai-ti." Kurenai turned to see Anko lightly snoring. Fuck, Kurenai got up and looked down at herself and immediately relaxed. She was in her full night gown, panties and all. "Stop thinking of you dirty minds." Anko was also fully clothed, if you could call it clothed. Thank Kami. Kurenai got up and started to cook some eggs and boil some miso soup. Anko woke up from her groggy state and yawned. "Oh, Nai-chan, thank you for letting me sleep over. I'll help you teach the brats too, as promised. YWWN. Kurenai immediately stopped. She had asked Anko to teach the genin. What had she done? Naruto's house. Naruto woke up and quietly passed Kiba and Shino. He took out a pan and started to fry some eggs. He put some bread in the oven and got out some cups for water. He then heard Kiba get up and walk out. Akamaru was still in his jacket that was on the couch. "Morning, Naruto. Yo, Kiba, getting some food ready." Kiba raised an eyebrow. "You know how to cook?" "Yeah, it's an important skill. You should learn it." Kiba rolled his eyes and started to pour water into the cups and set them on the table. Shino finally got up and just nodded to Kiba and Naruto. The team scoffed down their food and all ran together towards the training grounds. As they ran, Naruto turned to Kiba and asked, "Hey Kiba, I read something about soldier pills. Do you know what they are?" Kiba nodded. He took out a small reed pill and explained, "These were made by the Akimichi. They are little pills packed with nutrients and everything it makes the body run on over time and doubles its efficiency, but when it runs out it is easier to knock you out because your body slows down heavily." Naruto thought for a second, "That doesn't really seem safe. Maybe if I use something like Kiba. Do you remember my seals that I have on my arm?" Kiba nodded. "Well, to produce the flames the seals have to store chakra and convert it into flame. I was thinking we could do it for you, so your jutsus could last longer." Kiba smirked. "Alright, but where are you going to put it?" Naruto thought for a second. "I've read the best place to store chakra is either on your head or base of your neck or the stomach. I don't think you want it on your head because many would ask questions and your stomach would be weird, so I think the neck would be the best." Kiba accepted his reasoning and asked another question, "But other than just hiding it with my clothes, is there another way we could disguise it?" Naruto bit his lip. "I'll have to reference in the library. I remember it saying something about seals and the appearance of tattoos." Shino then decided to speak up. "Do you all remember the plan?" Shino's teammates nodded. They remembered all the info they had gathered yesterday. Flashback. Kiba, Naruto and Shino both walked up the wall of the library very quietly. Naruto opened the loose window and ushered them inside. Like always, Naruto went to the accountant's and grabbed a candle, but this time he grabbed some extra ones. He walked back carefully to Kiba and Shino, who were looking around. He handed them out, and they used Kiba's matches to light them. Kiba had a whole survival pack sealed in a scroll in his back pocket. Why? Because his mom was paranoid. They walked around carefully looking for the subjects they assigned themselves. Naruto was searching for some ninjutsu for both Kiba and Shino. This was the harder part because there were not many high-rank ninjutsu here, too dangerous. Instead they had basic and maybe chunin level jutsus. Naruto was assigned this task because of his Kage bunch, and he would read each scroll and pick which one would have a low chakra cost while at the same time beneficial to them. Shino, being an analyzer, would look at the maps for training ground number 12 and draw a copy. He would also mark areas where they could implement their planned tactics. Then Shino would go to Naruto, report, and get the ninjutsu scrolls to copy. Kiba was assigned finding about Kurenai. As a tracker, Kiba had to memorize descriptions on the fly, and he practiced at home by reading a line of text once, and then remembering it at the end of the day. Flashback end. Sadly, they only got 2 jutsus each that would really help them without hampering their chakra supplies, but it would have to be enough. They arrived at the training grounds to see Kurenai, and some other women with her. Naruto climbed over the rocks and such and walked over to Kurenai. When he and his team got there, they all nodded and greeted her Kurenai-sensei, and Naruto scratched the back of his head. "I'm sorry, lady, I don't know your name." The scantily clad woman scoffed as she took a bite out of her dango stick she had in her hand. "The name's Ankle Kid. I'll be helping you train in combat later. Nai-chan over here will work on capturing and we'll both work on tracking." Naruto nodded. It was not weird that Jonin stuck together when training. Anko got up, still chewing on dango. "I'll be watching from over there." Anko pointed to a large tree that was near the edge of the training grounds. "See ya." Anko gave a cheery wave and jumped over there. Kurenai shook her head and turned to her team. "Alright, you have 1 hour to find me, and I will be in this training grounds. You cannot use the trees for cover, nor will I begin." Kurenai disappeared under Genjutsu, and the rest of Team 8 jumped back as one. Naruto looked back and forth trying to find his sensei, but there was no avail. Naruto whispered to his team, "Do you guys have a track?" Kiba shook his head. "There's an overwhelming stench of perfume. It's covering my senses." Shino also shook his head. "It seemed my Kikai bug was disabled with said perfume." Naruto sighed and closed his eyes. "Alright, then I'm using that." Naruto immediately jumped up his bandages, unraveling Kiba, and Shino immediately jumped back even farther, not wanting to get caught in the AoE. Anko was looking with interest. Good, they're working as a team, and they know each other's abilities. Very interesting, but what is the fox boy doing? And then everyone saw it. Naruto, who had jumped about 40 feet in there thanks to his Shuinpa. Naruto charged a good amount of chakra into his arm. He hoped Kurenai-sensei wouldn't get caught in this. Flashback. Naruto opened his door. His face was nervous. "Here's my house." Kiba and Shino stepped in and looked around. His house was actually quite neat, though some of the stuff was worn because he had found them in the dump. Shino walked over to the other side of the room and inspected the kitchen. There wasn't much in it, but it was still enough to get by. Shino raised an eyebrow at the Spartan-like areas Naruto had. Kiba looked at a certain spot in his little house, the newly made wall. Naruto scratched his head at Kiba. "What's up?" Kiba pointed to the wall. "That smells brand new, and all the walls behind it too." Akamaru yipped in agreement. Naruto scratched his head again and gave a shaky smile. "I kinda used the seal I made on a target to practice, and it caused that." Kiba and Shino both turned so fast Naruto thought they would break their necks. "What?" Kiba shouted. Naruto sighed and explained. Flashback end. Naruto pulled his fist back, the fire burning like a furnace on his arm, and in one motion Naruto turned his body and thrust with his right arm and whispered, "Flaming swallow. Drive." A huge stream of flames came out of the fist, scorching the lands in front of him. Though it did not cover all of it did burn everything on the surface. Naruto fell to the ground and said, "Initiating tactic 27. Anko's mouth dropped. This kid had just sent a jutsu that burnt a good portion of the field, albeit only on the surface. That was at least a B-rank technique. She turned and expected to see Naruto on one knee panting like crazy, but he was only breathing hard. Damn, Nai-chan struck gold. Kurenai. Damn it, I so did not strike gold on this. Kurenai was in the middle, the very middle of the attack. She did the only thing she could: duck underground. Naruto. Naruto turned to Kiba. Sent? Kiba nodded straight ahead, but the wind's changing course, so hurry. Naruto nodded. Akamaru had finally gotten out of Kiba's jacket and prepared itself for tactic 27. Kurenai got out of the ground and found that Kiba was running right at her on all fours. Why is he doing that? He's practically a mile away from me. Just then Naruto ran up behind him, grabbed Kiba by his collar. Kurenai narrowed her eyes. What is he? Suddenly Naruto disappeared and reappeared only 10 feet away. Kiba was already spinning in motion and coming at her when Naruto cried out, "Naruto Kiba combination. Drill bullet 1. Kurenai jumped up and Kiba smashed into the ground. Debris flew up in huge chunks. Shit, what the hell is that? Wait a minute, was that what Kakashit was talking about? She was suddenly broken out of her musings as she sensed a presence behind her. She turned and saw another Kiba with another Naruto coming right at her. They cried out together this time, "Naruto Kiba combination. Drill bullet 2. Naruto threw Kiba with that same disappearing technique and attached himself to a nearby boulder in the air. **T. Kurenai immediately co-married with a rock nearby, and as she looked back she saw that the rock was completely crushed to dust. Kurenai went wide eyes. Are they trying to kill me? Suddenly she felt a grab from behind, and she saw that Naruto had grabbed her in a full Nelson hold. Kurenai, her brain working overtime, stuttered out, "How did you?" Naruto chuckled. "I co-married with one of the many clones I had set up in the field." Kurenai then smirked. "Good plan, but that won't." "Who said I co-married with this one?" a voice called out. Kurenai looked at the voice to see Naruto standing in front of her. "Then is this a Kage bunch?" "Nope." Kurenai turned to the voice on the other side of her to reveal Shino. "It's a bug clone." As the Naruto bug clone bursted and formed a loose dome around Kurenai, Shino spoke. "Sensei, if you were the enemy I would have simply allowed my Kikai to suck your chakra." Kurenai nodded. "You've captured me." With that Shino recalled his bugs. Kiba walked up with Akamaru on his head. Both seemed unsteady. Naruto plopped himself on the ground panting. Those multiple shunpas were really tiring. Kurenai smiled at them. Congratulations on capturing a John and Naoi. Henai-chan. Don't keep them all to yourself, Anko said as she jumped down from the trees. We have a lot of work to do, brats, Anko said smiling. She grabbed Kiba and Naruto, put them in a headlock. The headlock made their face touch certain assets, making the duo blush. Shino and Kurenai just sighed. Naruto silently walked near the library. His partners in crime followed behind him quietly. They had planned this for 3 weeks now, and they had finally found the time to have another camping trip. You see, Naruto believed that it would be suspicious if they just had camping trips in the middle all the time, so they decided to do it once a month. It had been 3 months since they had graduated from the academy and fought against Kurenai, 3 months since they met the sadistic Anko. The months of torture, pain, and mental scarring. Shino was constantly threatened by Anko since she had snakes that ate bugs, so poor Shino started running miles upon miles with 20-pound weights on his arms and legs. This may not seem much at first, but after a while it feels like a ton. Kiba, with all his brash and boasting, now was a bit quieter because he was jumpy. Anko had decided to test his readiness and started attacking him at random intervals during training. The first few times he couldn't defend himself, and he was stabbed with senbons in places that hurt. And when he started calling her a crazy B***tch, well, let's just say that day all of teammate ran for a long time. Naruto was probably had the easiest out of all of them. Kurenai practiced genjutsu on him, and he would have to break it. Other than that, he went through some rigorous conditioning. While doing this, he had to make 2 shadow clones, one to play shogi against Nara's Shibi and another to read up on tactics. Though Naruto liked reading different variations of the same thing got boring. And when he was not training, he would practice either chakra control or his shunpa. Kurenai even questioned on why he was working on what seemed a perfect technique. Naruto simply said that there was a delay if he wanted to turn, and also he wasn't fast enough. Either way, teammate had a bond of brotherhood facing trails that tested their patience, limits, and sanity. They laughed together when someone would slip up, cried together when Anko decided she wanted to stab something, run away together when Anko wanted to make something bleed, hell, even hide together when Anko summoned snakes to hunt them. Anyways, as for visiting the library, Shino said it would be logical to continue learning. Naruto suggested they go every week then, but Kiba intervened and said it would be suspicious if they go every week, so they decided to camp once every month. The first time they visited the library, they got info on Anko and made Kiba seal. They had found out that Anko was a special jounin and was one of the leading interrogators in torture and investigation. They weren't surprised because they figured she had gotten her sadisticness somewhere, but they were extremely confused as how the hell Kurenai-sensei was friends with her. Anyways, Naruto made Kiba seal to absorb 10% of Kiba's remaining chakra every night at 12 o'clock. Of course, Naruto had put in a fail-safe that if Kiba was low on chakra, it wouldn't do it, or if Kiba was so low on chakra that he would die, it would release. Naruto also spent the rest of the night making sure Kiba memorized the seals to release the chakra seal. Finally, Kiba now had a tattoo on his neck reading Inuzuka boy on it when he showed his mom, let's just say Naruto, and Shino winced as they heard Kiba's yells of pain. The second time, Anko and Kurenai had found about Naruto's seals and told him to change it into a tattoo like Kiba. Naruto asked what to turn it into, and Anko, beating Kurenai to the punch, told him to change it into flames to look cool. Naruto just sighed. On their second visit, Naruto spent most of his time looking up ways to do the seal tattooing again so he could do his flame decals correctly. Kiba spent most of his trying to find jutsus he could use but had no luck. Shino spent his time looking up medicines. When Shino told them of his findings later that night, Kiba asked why he was learning them. Shino shrugged and said they could be useful later. Now for the third time they were at this, they had to search for information on Cloud, IWA, and Kiri. Why? Because they were going to do a joint mission with them. Yes, it was not something you normally do, but it was to ease the tension. Now Naruto was not particularly happy with this, but hey, for the coming war it was going to have to work. A week ago, Anko and Kurenai upped the regiment to 7 days a week and 10 hours a day. After the 4th day of grueling training, the genin of Team 8 broke down crying in pain as Anko launched senbons coated with pain-inducing poison. Poor chaps. Kurenai explained they had to do a joint mission with Kumo to better the relationship between the two villages. After Kurenai, Anko explained about the increasing tension between Kiri and IWA. Suna was having a far better relationship with them because both villages were now helping train each other shinobi while doing joint missions. Kumo, on the other hand, was still in the neutral zone. If they did this mission successfully, it would be an olive branch to more friendship. Naruto was still uneasy about this joint mission, and when he expressed his thoughts to his team, Kiba boasted that they'll be fine. Shino, on the other hand, said it would be logical to look them up along with the other countries just in case. And now they were off in the library studying about Kumo, IWA, and Kiri. 2 weeks later. Today was a bright and sunny day for Konoha's Team 8. Yeah right, who the f***ck are we kidding here? Team 8 was at Naruto's house again. Why? Because their sensei ordered them to. Today was the day they would go on the trip to Kumo. The Hokage had already informed their parents and ordered the genins to spend less time at home so they could get used to parents' absence. To Kiba, this was a blessing, not having to be woken up by his sister or thrashed by his mom. For Shino, this was merely necessary. Team 8 had now been living in the same house for 4 days straight, and they had gotten used to each other's presences. Naruto would wake up early and cook breakfast. Kiba would check their equipment. And Shino would well do whatever he did. They had come a long way from being the sort-of useless genins they were before. Kiba was now a dangerous contender in assault. He made explosion bombs, flash bombs, and even stink bombs for tracking. He was progressing well in his clan taijutsu as well as his ninjutsu, though he only knew a few other ninjutsu aside from his clan jutsu. Excluding academy, he knew how to sue the well and in creative ways. Anko had also set them up with finding their elemental chakra. Of course, she didn't train them in how to control it, but she said it would help to know what kind of jutsus to get them. Kiba was surprisingly thunder. That was an extremely rare. Naruto had also scourged the library and found only 3 lightning techniques that Kiba could use without elemental chakra control. His jutsus included Raiden, Thunder Grapple, a technique that allows his strike to have a numbing effect. Raiden, Thunder Net. This was at first a defensive technique, but Naruto discovered when used with Katsuba it could become a devastating attack. Shino was now a ridiculous trickster in battle and now had an endurance that could rival a Chunin. Shino now had weights on all the time and didn't bother to take them off. Naruto didn't know how fast Shino was, but Naruto guessed that if he fought Shino in taijutsu, even if Shino wasn't proficient in his clan taijutsu style, Naruto would have to use Shunpa to get the upper hand. Shino's library of ninjutsu wasn't much since Shino's chakra was earth elemental. They looked up some earth, but sadly, like Raiden Justice, jutsus that Shino could use without elemental chakra control was hard to find. He did have Doton, Headhunter, a technique that allowed Shino to emerge from the ground below the target area as an escape, Doton, Earth Wall as a defense, and Doton, Underground Projection Fish for his bugs to come up sneakily. Naruto, on the other hand, improved in all aspects. He now named jutsus on different uses of Kaiga Bunshin and Jibaka Bunshin with Shunpa as 4 real jutsus. Naruto only knew 2 more. They were Katan, Fire Wave, a technique that allows Naruto to blow a stream of flame out of his mouth. Though not as powerful as the dragon missile, it was still useful. And Futon, Air Swirl, a technique used by Naruto hands to create a vertical tornado. Naruto found out that if he simply made the hand seals all at once, he could use them at the same time. Naruto called this new jutsu Futon and Katan. Firestorm. Not imaginative is he anyways, though it wasn't as destructive as his Burning Sky Lark seal. It did provide a distraction and could isolate opponents long enough for a Shunpa. After they had finished packing for a 3-week journey, they had used Naruto's sealing scrolls. They walked towards the north gate. There they saw Kurenai and Anko waiting for them. "Hi Kurenai-sensei, Anko-sensei." Kurenai nodded and said hello back. Anko, on the other hand, "Hello stupid brats, how you doing?" Naruto put a smile and slowly reached behind him for a saban just in case. Kiba scratched Akamaru, who was on his head, with one hand, but if one looked closely they could see his other hand was reaching for a kunai just in case. Shino decided to speak up for them. "We are fine, Anko-sensei, but what are you doing here?" Anko shrugged. "The Hokage has sent me and another Anbu to do a joint mission with one of their Anbu and Jounin. Apparently they have someone to investigate, maybe torture." And as she said that, she got a dreamy look in her eyes and smiled like she was remembering a first kiss. At this, Shino immediately put his hands in his pockets reaching for a kunai with a pre-made explosive tag on it. Shino took no chance. Anyways, Kurenai intervened before they started a war. "We need to move out." Naruto scratched his head. "Nay, Kurenai-sensei, who's the Anbu?" Kurenai pointed behind Naruto. "Right over there." Teammate turned to see an Anbu woman with a familiar mask and purple hair. Kiba whistled at her assets. Shino was stoic as ever, well to the normal eye at least. Naruto eyes widened with surprise and joy. A second later the Anbu was tackled by the Jinchuriki. "Kitty-chan," Naruto cried. The rest of teammate, including Anko, both sweat dropped and had a question mark above their head. "Kitty-chan?" The Anbu hugged Naruto back and then set him back on the ground. "Nice to see you too, Naruto." Naruto blushed and scratched the back of his head. And so the journey went. Aiki was an interesting 5-day trip to Kumo. Naruto decided to tell his Kitty-chan everything he had done, including breaking into the library. As they went on the trip, they also had team tactics in which each of the members would lead in their different specialties. Kiba was obviously tracking, Naruto was combat, and Shino was capture. Overall, the journey was quite quick. Naruto was walking next to Kiba and Shino conversing. "I'm telling you, Naruto, it's never going to work." Naruto shook his head. "And I'm telling you, Kiba, you're full of crap, dog crap. A/N. I just watched NTS." Kiba's eyebrows twitched. Naruto ignored him and continued. "Kiba, think about if I use Firestorm and you and my clones use the missiles, that'll work." Kiba shook his head. "I have no doubt I'll make it through, but there is no way in hell." "Language, Kiba," Kurenai barked. "Sorry, sensei," Kiba said and continued. "There is no way that we can aim." Naruto raised a finger. "But with Firestorm we'll be able to isolate them, then this will be distracting enough and long enough for a direct hit." Shino decided to stop the conversation because he was getting really annoyed. "Kiba, Naruto, I believe we are here." Both Kiba and Naruto stopped and looked forward. Indeed, they were here, the great village of Kumo. Naruto whistled. That was pretty different than Konoha. It had buildings on the ground as well as attached to the mountains behind it. Naruto could see the Raikage Tower at the far back too, since it was up so high. The Konoha shinobi walked side by side to the gates. Akamaru, who was still active, was running through their legs. Just then they saw a group consisting similar to their own standing at the gates waiting for them. They met each other at the gates and Naruto took a good look at them. Overall, these people were armed just as much as they were. The Anbu was like Kitty-chan, a woman with short brownish hair. Like all Anbu, she had a sense of power around her. The jounin that would partner up with Anko had black hair that fell down to her shoulders. Her eyes were a mismatched green and blue. What Naruto assumed was the jounin instructor was a girl. She had light skin and short light green hair, and her eyes were mud brown. Finally Naruto looked at the genins. There were one boy and two girls. The only boy farthest to the left of the group had a light platinum hair. He had dark brown eyes and very dark skin. The girl to his right also had dark skin but yellow eyes. She had red hair tied up in a bandana. A/N. Fucking motherfucker, can't I find one Samui picture that is real and I can actually see? But the genins didn't really catch his attention. Naruto's eyes were fixed on the girl of the group, probably only a year older than him. She had blonde hair like his, but it was long and silky in a ponytail. She wore a brown shirt with some armor on the forearms. Her pants were purple cargo. Usually perverted men or boys would stare at her developed assets. Naruto wasn't staring at them at all, he was staring at her eyes, directly into her eyes, and she stared back. What caught each other's attention was what was in the eyes. It wasn't the blue eyes many would lose themselves in, it was the familiarity of those eyes. It was so similar what these eyes held. Those eyes held pain, loneliness, isolation, that held the pain of knowing you are different, knowing you are and will never be a true human. They were entranced by the fact that there was someone could have eyes so similar to their own. Could he/her be like me? Could they hold the same thing people scorn, people detest? The pain that every day you were reminded of, that pain that every day you had to force yourself to put on a smile even though someone had spit on you or beat you the previous night. That pain was evident in their eyes, that pain attracted each other. Both of them thought, does he/she hold a Naruto/Yujito? How they both said at the same time. It seemed that their teammates had been trying to call them and introduce them to each other. There was awkward silence, and Shino once again decided to get the ball rolling. Naruto, this is Yujito ni, Shino, as he waved his hand toward the girl. Then Shino turned to Yujito. Yujito-san, this is Uzumaki Naruto. Once again Shino waved his hand, but this time towards Uzumaki. Oh hey, they said at the same time while reaching out for each other's hand. Both of them noticed they were acting similar and laughed, and the team around them just stared at the sight. Then the Jonin instructor said at the same time, well, they're getting along well, but they didn't notice they said the same things. The only people who did were Naruto and Yujito, who only laughed harder. After a couple minutes the blondes finally stopped laughing. The Umbu decided this would be the time to visit the Reikage. We will be meeting with Reikage, please follow me. And they did. Naruto reached out his senses to notice that they weren't just watched by the group in front of him, but several nins as well. Though Naruto couldn't tell the exact number, Naruto knew that there were at least 5 in the rooftops and 2 in the streets blending in with the crowd. Naruto knew this was just precautionary and ignored the security. He turned his head to notice Yujito looking at him. He looked back and so did she. Yujito mouthed the words he hated but accepted at the same time. Jinchuriki. Naruto turned away, breathing hitched. He felt his heart stop, and then beat fast enough to dance the tango to. Naruto gulped and calmed his body. Naruto looked back at Yujito and nodded. She also turned away. For the rest of the trip Yujito and Naruto did not send any more messages. They just drank in the fact they were not alone anymore, at least for a little while. As they were walking, Naruto whispered for Shino for the names of everyone on the team. Shino told him that the green-haired Jounin was Samui, the boy with the light platinum hair was Oma, and the red-haired bandana girl was Karui. They were never informed of the other Jounins and Umbu's codename. As they arrived at the tower, Kiba had picked up Akamaru and put him in his jacket, while Naruto took a deep breath. They walked into the Reikage's office, and Naruto wasn't surprised at the similarity it had to Sandaime's office. There was paperwork everywhere. Naruto diverted his attention to the Reikage. Naruto was actually surprised at the difference there. Sandaime was an old man and was sort of hunched. The Reikage was totally different. He had a set of abs on him and a huge set of muscles. Naruto mistook him for Boulder for a second. The Reikage had dark skin like the other two Genins but had white hair due to age. The Reikage was sort of hunched forward and currently staring at a certain part of the wall, not even looking at them when they entered. At first Naruto thought it was rude, but Naruto ignored it as he didn't want to start any fights. To make sure that nothing bad would happen, he lightly nudged Kiba, who turned his head slightly to Naruto. Naruto put his finger to his lips as a she gesture. Kiba nodded in understanding and looked back. Samui started to talk. Reikage-sama. The Reikage didn't respond. The Konoha team waited. Naruto thought for a second, what is the Reikage doing? Samui nudged him again. Reikage-sama. No response. Samui sighed and she punched him in the head and yelled Reikage. The Reikage jolted up. What damn, I fell asleep. At this the Konoha nin's sweat dropped, and the Kumo Genins, Umbu, and Jounins just sighed and shook their head. Samui tried again. Reikage-sama, the Konoha nin are here. Reikage the zzzzz. Samui's eyebrow twitched and once again smacked him again. Damn it, Reikage. What once again the Konoha nin's sweat dropped and the Kumo nins just shook their heads. The Reikage looked at the Konoha nins. His eyes widened and said out loud, Samui, why didn't you tell me the Konoha nins arrived? The Kumo nin's face faulted along with the Konoha nins, but Samui looked like devils incarnate. After several minutes of yelling of Samui and the discomfort of the Reikage, ahem, now the Reikage said, thank you for coming here. Here are your 2 assignments. The Reikage handed 2 folders out, one to Kurenai and the other to Anko. Both of them bowed and said, thank you, Reikage-sama. The Reikage just waved it off. Now you must be tired. Go ahead and rest tonight. and start he mission tomorrow. The Konoha Nins bowed and left the tower. Samui then turned to the Konoha Nins. We are going to let you stay at a hotel in the West District. It's not far from here, so we'll just walk. Kurenai nodded. Anko was too busy skimming over her patients. Once again they set off together. Naruto decided he might as well get to know his fellow Jinchuriki. Naruto broke away from his group and started walking next to Yujito. Both sides noticed this, except for Yujito, and raised an eyebrow to it. Naruto then turned to her, while walking, and asked casually, how do you like your village? This may have been an everyday question to someone else, some other species, but not to Jinchuriki. This was a declaration of their ties, how much loneliness, or love they have received in their lives. How much pain or comfort they had received. Yujito turned to him and smiled and said, it's a really cool place. We have a great scenery everywhere, and the air is refreshing. It's like a big valley you can just relax in. Naruto looked interested, and his mind flashed towards how felt about his village. Both sides were quite interested in the conversation, so remained silent to listen. Even Anko stopped dreaming of the ways to torture her patients. I have pretty good friends here, and the food's good too. There's this really good restaurant I really like that makes great sushi. Naruto raised his eyebrows. Maybe you could show me later. At this both sides dropped their jobs. Was he asking her out on a date? They all were shocked. Then as they processed all the information they got worried. The Kumo Nins thought, wait a minute, Yujito has a huge temper. What happened if she got angry? That'll be bad. Crap, what do we do? The Konoha Nins were going into shock. Naruto wanting something other than ramen. WTF, what is happening? To the surprise of all, Yujito gave him a playful smile. Okay, how about tonight then? After we get you to your rooms, they're open late anyways. Naruto smiled at her. Sure thing. Then Yujito tilted her head to Naruto. What about your village? Naruto laughed. It's a really fun village. Every day there's these random things you can't help but get angry at or just start laughing on the floor. It's pretty warm at times and cold at others. It kind of depends on the weather. The Konoha Nins nodded. This was true, but Yujito knew better than this. She knew what he was referring to. Naruto eyes brightened to sparkles. And there's this really good place called Ichiroku's Ramen. It's a great place to hang out. Yujito looked with interest. Cool, maybe when I got to Konoha you can take me. Naruto nodded quickly. Yeah. By that time they had reached the hotel. They said their goodbyes and the Konoha Nins were allowed to settle their packs down for the night. Kiba and Shino approached Naruto as he was laying out their pack. Kiba decided to ask the first question. Hey Naruto, what was talking to that girl about? Akamaru barked in agreement. Naruto turned and gave a small smile. She seems familiar. It's hard to describe. Shino raised an eyebrow. You like here then? Kiba and Naruto looked at him and stared. Shino just shrugged. What can't I tease? Kiba and Naruto sighed. Shino, you are too stoic to tease. At this, Shino sighed. I'm just going to go over there now. And Shino went to go find some plants to feed his Kikai and Naruto, and Kiba watched him as he left the room. Kiba turned back to Naruto. So what do you mean with similarity? Naruto looked Kiba dead in the eye. You know how I was an orphan, right? Kiba nodded and then raised his hand to stop Naruto. It's okay, I'll see you later. With that, Kiba left the room. As part of the Inuzuka clan, Kiba was territorial. He was possessive of his friends, and did not like those just attaching random friendships onto random people. But as part of the pack, one could keep secrets. It was necessary to trust that the pack could one day share on secrets, and it was not good if the pack started to tear itself apart for secrets. Akamaru barked and rubbed against Naruto once and ran after his partner. Naruto sighed and walked out of the hotel and saw Yujito waiting for him. Hey Yujito, hey Naruto. And so the two Jinchuriki visited Yujito's favorite place, Yamamoto's sushi shop. Naruto got back late that night. It was 11:15 at night when he stumbled in the hotel with a goofy smile on his face. Luckily Anko and Kitty-chan had already left for their mission, but Naruto had to get past Kurenai. Naruto looked up at Kurenai, who was looking at him with a raised eyebrow. Naruto, it's late. Why did you wait? Minute, what did you do? Naruto blinked. What do you mean? Kurenai smiled. You're smiling like you got a first kiss. Naruto blushed and shook his head. Sensei, stop teasing. We didn't do anything like that. Yujito-chan and I just talked. Kurenai raised an eyebrow again while smirking. Yujito-chan. Naruto blushed even deeper and looked away. I'll be going then. Kurenai watched him leave and smiled. Wait until she told Anko. Naruto hurried to leave and escape his sensei's teasing. The next day, the team 8 got bright, and early they had been informed by Kurenai in the hotel that they would be taking down a bandit camp that had taken some people hostage. The ransom was supposed to be paid today, so it would be a simple kill and go. They would be working the outside and securing the prisoners. Kurenai charged Naruto with leading the mission while she supported the Kumo team. Naruto had them wake up early to explain the plan to the rest of his team. As team ate breakfast, Naruto started to talk. Okay, since I am the fastest with Shunpa, I'll be the first to go and Kiba will be supporting the sides while Shino shall be protecting and freeing the prisoners. The rest of Team 8 nodded. They trusted Naruto's judgment. After they had finished packing and eating and whatnot, they went outside. They only waited for a few minutes for Kurenai to arrive from her briefing from Reikage and another few minutes before they saw the Kumo team arrive. They all greeted each other politely. Naruto looked over to Yujito. They shared a knowing smile and a slight glimmer in each other's eyes. Hey Yujito-chan. Hi Naruto-kun. At this both the sides raised an eyebrow. Kun. Chan. Both Yujito and Naruto looked around wondering what they were talking about. Samui was the first to recover. Come on, we have a bandit camp to destroy. And so the two teams walked in silence. Naruto looked over to see that Karui and Omoi both had katanas strapped on their back. Puzzled at this, Naruto asked Kari-san, Omo-san, you practice kenjutsu? Oma looked at him and nodded. We were taught by Killer B-sensei. Naruto nodded. He had heard about the other Jinchuriki who had taught the team and was also teaching Yujito. Yujito had told him about her life here in detail, and so did Naruto's at his own. And the journey continued with the two teams asking each other questions. At first it was uncomfortable being with different neens who were asking you questions like an interrogation, but as they got more into it they forgot their differences and started responding as if they were simply from the same village but didn't know each other. To the Jonins it was nice to see the generation after them bonding, but they had to stop for it was time to start the mission. Kurenai called out Naruto. Kiba, Shino, it's time, move into your position. Immediately teammates stopped talking and nodded. Silently they each ran off into the distance of the shrubbery. They were positioned there so when the distraction was ensued by Kurenai and Team Samuel, Naruto's group could move in. Naruto looked out from his position and examined the bandit camp. There were a group of 20 bandits milling around the fire and another 8 guarding the large tent their target. 10 minutes later Kurenai and Team Samui or Team A struck. Team A had did a great job in the first strike. They took out 8 of the 20 bandits with well-placed kunais. Kiba and Shino stiffened at the killing right in front of their eyes, but they calmed down. They knew this was the life of the shinobi path of a killer. Team A drawed them away quite quickly. Some of the bandits guarding the tent also went to help, so there were only 5 left at the camp. Okay, I'm going in, Naruto whispered. Naruto shunped forward and struck the closest man in his stomach, sending him skyrocketing back against another man. Naruto didn't stop there. He shunped again and struck another bandit in the face. Naruto turned and saw that the 2 bandits, now lined up, were starting to charge with their weapons. Naruto immediately took out a kunai and shunped a small distance and stabbed the bandit farthest to the left in the gut. After Naruto spun and stabbed the man in the neck. Naruto watched him drop. Naruto's world slowed to a crawl. He had just killed a man, taken a man's life. This man had memories, a life, a purpose, a goal just like him, and he took it away. Naruto did not notice the man behind up getting up and rushing him with his short sword. Naruto was snapped out of his thoughts as he heard a cry of Gutsuga. Naruto turned and saw that Kiba had covered him from the bandit. Kiba looked back at him, his face grim as Naruto had just killed someone. Kiba grasped H's shoulder. Come on, we have to keep going. Naruto nodded. Together they went in and saw Shino freeing the prisoners. Naruto and Kiba started to foul the people out. Naruto used Kage Bunshin to cover them. It took 30 minutes to do it, but they had successfully gotten all of the hostages to the designated rendezvous point. There they saw Team A waiting for them. As they walked, Naruto looked into the Kurenai's eyes, and those red eyes staring back at him widening with realization. Kurenai. Immediately when she looked into Naruto's eyes, she saw not an eye of a young genin still learning. She did not see a bright and ignorant boy. No, she saw the eyes she saw every day among her colleagues, among her friends. This was an eye of a killer, someone who done the unspeakable sin. Kurenai closed her eyes in mourning that one of her students had broken innocence at such a young age. Naruto watched as Kurenai greeted them. He was glad that Kurenai didn't give him special attention, even though she saw that Naruto had become a killer. You see, when someone kills for the first time, their eye dulls. It is not a noticeable thing like the light has gone out of their eyes or something like that. It is more subtle. Their eyes feel less alive, less curious. Alright, Samui and I will escort the villagers to their homes and pick up the payment, while you guys can head back. Though there was spread confusion about the act, Naruto nodded as well as the rest of the teams. They walked quietly for a while on the road back to Kumo. It wasn't until Yujito walked next to Naruto did something happen. Naruto nodded at her presence, and she just kept walking beside him. They had no need for words. Yujito being there was comfort enough. It said to him, I'm there for you, it's okay. Kiba looked at the two and sighed. These two were really a pair for each other. Kiba's nose twitched. Kiba immediately stretched out his senses and focused with all his might. His mom said that when an Inuzuka's nose twitched that meant danger. Kiba really didn't believe his mom, but after meeting Anko he took no chance. Kiba's eyes widened at what he detected. He ran forward toward the two blondes and pushed them both in opposite directions. Scatter! He cried. Everyone heard a cry of Doton. Split earth, turn around, palm. Immediately the Genins dodged up to higher ground and saw 4 new Knins from IWA, judging by the scars on their headband, coming out. Naruto gritted his teeth. Kiba, Shino. Naruto waited for the 2 responses, but only received 1. Naruto turned around and saw Shino looking back at him. Naruto looked back at where he last stood when he was pushed by Kiba and saw that Kiba was under a pile of rocks, his right arm and left leg crushed. Luckily the rocks were not huge, so it probably only broke his arm, but the real problem was that Kiba was bleeding heavily and would die of blood loss if not taken care of. Naruto was mad, no, pissed off to the very depths of hell. Naruto looked at the new IWA Knins and started to see red. Shino turned immediately, worried for his friend. This was a demonic voice full of bloodlust. I want you to take one of them alive. Naruto jumped down and started walking towards the IWA Knins. Omo, can you please dig out Kiba and Yujito, and Karui, can you assist Shino? The Genin teams went immediately did so. Naruto started to undo his bandages. He jumped over where Kiba was, placing himself between the smirking IWA Knins and Kiba. When the IWA Knins saw Naruto's arms, they laughed. One even jeered, what you think tattoo's gonna help you, boy? Naruto's eyes grew slitted and red. Naruto channeled a huge amount of chakra into his arms. Both his arms looked like miniature bonfires, as they were burning all around him, scorching the grass and trees. The IWA Nins took a step back and watched Naruto carefully. The smirk wiped off their faces. This was a boy who was dangerous. Naruto disappeared. One of the IWA Nins said stupidly what that was all he got out as his body was consumed in flames. All that was left was him screams in agony. Naruto was standing a little bit behind the burning corpse. Naruto turned to the other Nins. They saw his eyes of the demon, eyes of monster, eyes of their executioner. They tried to run but they were burned. Naruto looked at the three fires. They were burning, their blood evaporating from the flames. Their ashes would remain on the ground to nature the plants. Naruto looked up at the sky. He understood now why he had to kill to protect his friends, to make sure no one got hurt. Naruto closed his eyes and took a deep breath. Though he took in smoke from burning corpses, though he took ashes from burnt skin, though he took the smell of blood, Naruto took his new resolution. Naruto looked over to his team. Shino was tying up the last of the IWA Nins. He had a cut forehead but otherwise fine. Omoy had finished digging out Kiba, who was laid out on the ground, and wrapped up his wounds. Akamaru was whining near his master's head. Karui had several cuts on her arms but they were shallow. Yujito was sweating but otherwise looked fine. She was reading a scroll she had pilfered from the IWA Nin pack. As she read it, her eyes got wider and wider. "Guys," she yelled out. Everyone turned to her. "We have to get this to Reikage right away." Naruto nodded. He would trust what Yujito said. "Give me the scroll, I can get there fast." Yujito threw him the scroll and Naruto shunped as fast as he could. As he reached the gates of Kyumo, he was stopped. "Konoha Nin, where is the rest of the team?" Naruto took a deep breath. "I have a scroll to deliver to Reikage." Naruto held out the scroll Yujito had given him. The Umbu looked at it for only 4 seconds and then yelled at him while running towards the Reikage tower. "Follow me now." Naruto ran after him as fast as possible. They entered the Reikage's office at a new record. Naruto was deadbeat tired after running, killing, and more running. Naruto saw that the Reikage was doing paperwork, and wasn't asleep this time. The Umbu stepped forward, kneeling with scroll in his hand. "Reikage-sama, this is very important." The Reikage nodded and grasped the scroll. He looked over at his eyes widening. The Reikage in one fluid motion stood up and punched through the window behind them. D%M. Naruto's eyes widened. Not even pausing, the Reikage sat down, took out an extremely fancy scroll with the cloud seal on it. The Reikage opened it and scanned it quickly. Then he turned to the Umbu and gave him both scrolls. "Send these to Konoha immediately." The Umbu took it. "High Reikage." Some of the Umbu left so fast that some of the paperwork flew up. But the Reikage didn't seem to care. The Reikage instead just sat down in his chair, sagging. Naruto was still confused. What had that scroll contained? Naruto cleared his throat. "Reikage-sama, what was that scroll about?" The Reikage side. The scroll was a mission, an A-class mission for an IWA team to act as nuke Nins and assassinate Team Samui and Team 8. Naruto fell to the ground on his butt. He was exhausted, and the news of someone wanting to assassinate him, coupled with the fact that he killed 4 people in one day, was heavy. The 2 occupants in the room did not say anything for a while. Naruto got up and bowed to the Reikage. "Good day, Reikage." The Reikage chuckled. "Soon we won't have any more good days to talk about." Naruto went to the gates for his teammates to return. Konoha 2 days later. Sarutobi was having a good day. He had just finished all his paperwork today and was having a nice cup of tea with his favorite tobacco. Sadly, his day ended as a jounin ran into his office. "What is it, Ginma?" "Hokage-sama, this is for you," Ginma said, panting while holding out 2 scrolls, one sealed with the cloud seal and the other that looked like a mission scroll. The Hokage took it and opened the mission scroll. The Hokage's eyes immediately widened and then hardened. Ginma knew those eyes. Those were the eyes of the god of shinobi, or the professor, the war hero, the Hokage. The Hokage took the other scroll and opened it. He read over it briefly and signed it. The Hokage looked at Ginma, who was having a hard time trying not to look nervous, and held out the cloud-sealed scroll. "Ginma, make a copy of this scroll and then send it back to IWA, and then raise the war level to preparation." Ginma's eyes widened, but he quickly recovered. "Hi, Hokage-sama," and left immediately. The professor stood up and started to walk to a certain and hidden building that not many knew about. War levels were a tricky thing. As its name can indicate, it will tell at what level a war is at. For Konoha, it had been on peace for the past couple years. The other levels were hostile, preparation, silent war, and all-out war. In Konoha, there have only been 3 in all-out war. An all-out war to Konoha would be that every shinobi would fight in the open combat, Genin, Chunin, Jounin, and Umbu-like. All of them would be stained in blood in war. Of course, those 3 times would be the 3 great ninja wars. To further the point, different villages had different levels in warning. IWA had only 3 levels, Kumo had 4, Aimi had 6, and Suna had 5. It all depended on the useless squabbling of council members. But it didn't matter to the Kages, because when it came down to it, war was just war. Sarutobi hated himself for doing this. He knew this was the only way. He kept on walking to the building that was hidden quite well. He saw 4 guards and walked past them. They didn't bother trying to stop him. They knew they couldn't even if they tried. As Sarutobi walked in the hallway, he knew that this decision would cause the massacre of thousands of people. The Sandaime knew that as long as it wasn't his people. You see, the Hokage was like a parent to the population of Konoha. He watched over them, cared for them, made sure they were safe. But when someone tried to hurt his children, tried to scare his children, tried to kill his children, Sarutobi would make sure that person would never try again. Just like a parent, the Hokage would do anything, go any length to ensure safety for his children. The Hokage walked into the office of rival. Though he usually would be annoyed or angry seeing this man, for now he was content on knowing this man would back him up. The crippled man looked at him and smiled. "And what do I owe your presence, Hokage-sama?" The Hokage looked at this man dead in the eye. He hated this man's guts. He knew what this man was doing, but he accepted it for the better of Konoha. "Danzo, I am officially reactivating Umbu Root." Danzo's eyes widened. Sarutobi threw him the scroll and Danzo deftly caught it and opened it, his eyes widening as he read it. Danzo paused as he finished and then finally looked back at the Hokage. "Our mission, destroy IWA." As soon as the Hokage left, Danzo started planning. Right now, at his disposal, he had 15 squads. In about half a year he would have 20 more, but if he upped the regiment, he could have 30 more. He mulled over the possibilities of IWA attacking and what they would attack with. After 10 minutes, Danzo called in his most trusted commanders. "Both of you take 4 squads and enter IWA. Set up as many explosive tags as possible. I don't care how you do it, but place it near armories and hospitals. Also place it near heavily populated areas. When you have heard war has sprung, blow them up and cause as much damage as possible. Under no circumstances use any techniques that would lead back to Konoha." "Hi, Danzo-sama." The choice for armories was obvious. No weapons would cripple them. IWA did not have a reputation for good doctors, and those who were would be put in the hospital. If they took out the doctors, then their lifelines would be effectively cut off until they could train more. Finally, the heavily populated areas would just be to kill as many as possible to cause chaos. Danzo smirked. Sarutobi made the right decision in coming to him. Kyumo's same day. For 2 days Naruto had been milling around. The first day he waited for his team to return. They rushed Kiba to the hospital and doctors worked on him like mad. They said he would be fine, but it would be a while till he was at 100%. Naruto and Shino slept in Kiba's room waiting for him to wake up. The next day they found Kiba was up and raring to go. The doctors took a look at him and assigned him splints and crutches for later, but now he would be in a wheelchair. Shino questioned this because his arms were crushed the day before. The doctor laughed and said that Kiba was lucky since the rocks only crushed him partially and not all the way. But before they left, the doctor said they had to stay at least 3 more days and made sure Kiba went back to the hospital each time. As they went outside, Shino helping Kiba in his wheelchair, they saw Team Samui minus the instructor. Karui was sitting on a bench looking up at the sky while Omoi was sucking on a lollipop looking at the ground. Yujito was dozing off. "Hey guys," Naruto said. Yujito waved at them and Karui and Omoi jumped up. "Hey, how's your limbs, doggy?" Karui said, smirking. Kiba eyebrow twitched. "Not bad, flat chest." Karui snapped and stepped forward to hit him. Omoi went in front of Kiba, his hand raised. Hey, the guy just got out of the hospital." Karui stopped and sighed. Yujito smiled. "Come on, let's go get sushi." Karui and Omoi sighed once more. Fine. And so Team Samui and 8 started walking to Yamamoto's sushi shop. Naruto and Yujito were a bit far from the group, talking amiably. Omoi, who was pushing Kiba's chair, and Kiba were talking about them being a couple. Shino just snorted silently while Karui was rolling her eyes while petting Akamaru, who had taken the liberty of using her arms as a bed. "So how do you feel?" Yujito asked. Naruto looked at her. "What you mean?" Yujito sighed. "About killing them. Murdering them." Yujito looked at him quizzically. "Murdering?" "Yeah, I murdered." Yujito smacked him on the head. "Ouch, what was that for?" Naruto whined. "You killed them, not murder. They're 2 separate things." Naruto looked at her. "Funny, murder and killing are essentially the same things." Yujito rolled her eyes. "You killed in self-defense. Murdering is when you kill those who are defenseless, and you have no reason." "But," Yujito smacked him again, causing wide eyes from the group behind them. "BK, different things." Naruto rubbed his head. "Bad kitty." Yujito kneed him in the stomach and Naruto fell to the ground. "OWL. Yujito, why did you?" Omoi started to ask but stopped as he saw her face. Naruto raised his head and looked up. At the sight he saw, he started sweating. Yujito's face should have been the symbol of rage. "Oh, you really want to tell me I'm a bad kitty?" Naruto smiled weakly. "Nope." Yujito smiled. All the rage disappeared. "Good." Yujito stared, walking again, leaving the others in a stand, still frozen in shock. "The FUCK," Kiba whispered. "Yamamoto's sushi shop. Here is some tuna sashimi." Yujito's eyes started to get sparkles in them. "Thank you, Yamamoto." Yujito grabbed her chopra and grabbed one of the slices of sushi and dipped in its soy sauce, and without missing a beat she ate it and chewed. Her face was in pure delight at the taste. Yujito looked over to Naruto, who was staring at a piece of paper that had a seal on it. Yujito asked him, "Is that the seal for the concentration of Shuinpa?" Naruto nodded. "I've researched dozens of ways, but there is almost no way to concentrate it. The other 2 ways are forbidden, and forbidden for a good reason." Yujito nodded and thought for a moment. "Hey Naruto, yeah, where did you get the idea of Shunpa from anyways?" Naruto looked at her. "From means concentrating chakra into their legs and jumping." Yujito looked at him, smiling. "Well, usually we use 2 feet when pushing off, so why don't you use one at the front part of the foot and the back part so you can push off with both?" Naruto looked at her, his jaw slacked and eyes the size of dinner plates. Their teammates had stopped and looked at this spectacle. Naruto immediately took out a pen and fresh scroll and immediately started writing. After 2 minutes, Naruto looked at the base plan satisfied. He jumped up crying yes. Naruto looked at Yujito, grabbed her in a hug, shocking her. Good kitty, Naruto cried while pecking her on the cheek. Yujito turned red as a beet. Kiba smirked, and Shino raised his eyebrows while readjusting his glasses. Carrie and Omo stood up, wide-eyed. Finally, Naruto let go, doing a victory dance while Yujito was still beet red. Suddenly, Naruto flew out the doors of the Yamamoto with a red mark on his cheek. Yujito yelled, "Don't call me kitty," still beet red. Kumo Gates. The next day, Samui and Kurenai had finally returned with a wagon full of items. The hostages and their families were so thankful they partied and forced the two Jonins to stay. The next day, the families gave them a wagon full of these things and the agreed payment. It had taken them another day just to ride it back. The Chunin guard looked at them. Hello, Konoha-nin. Samui-san, what the hell is that? The guard mouth opened in a wide grin. His eyes grew brighter and brighter. Both Jonins sighed, "Don't ask," as they both handed him the reins and they left to report to the wreckage. The Chunin snapped out of his shock and said, "Excuse me, Konoha-san." Kurenai turned high. The Chunin scratched his head, looking nervous. The wreckage has signed the alliance treaty. Kurenai nodded. This was good news for Konoha, but Kurenai could tell that this man wanted to tell her something more. "What is it?" she asked. "Well, on the way back, your students were attacked by IWA. Kurenai snapped. She ran straight to the wreckage's office with Samui in tow. The Chunin guard was left there with a wagon full of 6-foot-tall sake bottles. Wreckage's office. Kurenai and Samui entered the wreckage's office and bowed. "Wreckage-sama, I was informed that my team was attacked." The wreckage nodded. "It seems that IWA placed fake nuke Nin to assassinate your team and Samui's team." "Your team is fine, Samui, but Kurenai-san." The wreckage was hesitant. Kurenai's heart stopped. Was one of them? Oh god, no. Luckily, she never finished that thought. "One of your team was injured, Kurenai." Kurenai let a small sigh of relief and then focused back on to the wreckage. "How bad was it?" The wreckage looked back at her. His limbs were partially crushed. Kurenai gasped. The wreckage held up a hand to placate her. "Don't worry, he is fine. It will be a week before he can walk properly and another month before he is fully 100%. Or at least that is what the doctors told me." Kurenai nodded, swallowing in the regret and sadness that she had failed as a sensei. The wreckage saw this and decided to soothe the uneasiness. "I would like to thank you for training your students well. They saved my nephew, Yujito." Kurenai's eyes widened and a small light returned to them. She bowed and said, "Thank you, Wreckage-sama." With that, Kurenai left. Samui stayed behind to give the report. 40 minutes later, Kurenai checked the hospital, but no luck. She checked the hotel room, no there. She even checked the sushi restaurant that they had been said to be eating a lot, but no avail. Finally, she went into a random restaurant to get some food, then continued searching. As she walked in, her jaw dropped. Right there, right in front of her, was her team. $#hashtag $, hashtag $, hashtag $, DMIT FCK. Kurenai cursed in her head. She looked at them and was surprised at the friendly atmosphere. Was it peaceful? Hell no. She saw Kiba lightly arguing with Carrie. Akamaru was sleeping her lap. About whether Akamaru should get a blue or red color? Shino was well-being. Shino, Naruto, and Yujito were talking and laughing loudly. Omo was eating like a hog, and was he putting mayonnaise on his fries? WTF. Kurenai almost thought they were from the same village and were great friends for a second, but reminded her that some of them were her team. Kurenai walked up and for some reason they all sensed her and turned. Shino nodded and Kiba waved from his wheelchair. "Hey sensei," Naruto said. Kurenai nodded. "Hi Naruto, we just got back." The three nodded. Kiba scratched his head. "As sensei, the doctor says it'll be 4 more days till I can start any running in a month before you can train at 100%. I know." Kurenai finished for him. She looked around the table smiling. "So we'll stay here for 4 more days then, just to make sure." The table erupted in cheers. Kurenai had to apply chakra to her feet to stay upright at the oncoming horde of hugs. After Kurenai had finally gotten her bearings right, being hugged and almost squeezed to death by happy kids can leave you out of breath and dizzy, she left to the hotel to write a letter to the Hokage. 4 days later, teammate walked to the gates. Anko and Nico were going to go get a head start. For the last few days they had rested, trained. Kiba just groaned all day long that he couldn't train. He stopped after the second day because Karui threatened to permanently make sure he couldn't have any kids, and hung out with Team Samui. The 4 members of Teammate now stood at the gates waiting to say goodbye to their friends here. Naruto thoughts flashed back to the time he snuck out with Yujito to talk and watch the moon and enjoy the peace of not being under hateful gazes, not to hear curses of their existence, not to feel the pain but to feel the comfort of someone who understands, even if just for a moment. "Hey guys," Naruto smirked. "Speak of the devil." All of Teammate turned to face Team Samui. Samui went over with Kurenai and conversed whatever independent women conversed about. A/N. "I have no idea, I'm not a girl." Carrie and Kiba, Kami knows how, got into an argument at a new record of 2 seconds after they said HI. Shino and Omoi just shook hands. The weird and silent. Naruto looked at Yujito and smiled. Yujito's blue eyes met his. "So this is it." Naruto scratched his head. "Yeah, but don't worry, we'll meet again." Yujito nodded. "Yeah, that'll be nice." They both smiled at each other. 2 Jinchuriki, both hated and scorned by society, now know they have someone to rely on. That was comforting to them. Naruto's eyes drifted towards a small part of her long hair. If you look closely you could see that a lock was cut off. The second day of the 4 days, Naruto was sitting on one of the mountains Yujito went often to relax. With him was herbal white dragon tea. Yujito had taken the liberty of getting some. Naruto took a sip from his cup and looked to his left to see a great imitation of a goddess. Naruto smiled and thought as she went into my village men would be drooling over her left and right. Yujito turned, their eyes met once again. Naruto saw a look on Yujito's face that he hadn't seen before. Naruto's face grew concerned. Yujito looked nervous. Naruto, you're gonna leave soon. Naruto nodded, his heart dropping slightly. Yeah, then it's back to the hellhole I live in. You know it's going to get lonely here. Naruto nodded, but he knew that was a lie. He had seen how Karui and Omoi and Samui, even the Reikage, acted around her like family, just like Gigi and teammate. But he also knew what she really meant. Naruto's mind drifted to a story he read once. Naruto looked back at Yujito, smiling. And though I read in a book once, if you keep a lock of hair of the person you care about, they'll be with you wherever you are. Yujito laughed and smacked Naruto in the back. Yeah, let's go with superstition. Just like every villager thinks about Jinchuriki. Naruto laughed also. There was a pause. Finally Yujito broke it. Let's do it. Naruto smiled at the memory. He was broken out of his musings when Kurenai yelled at him, Naruto, we have to go soon. Naruto looked over and called out, give me a sec, Kurenai-sensei. Naruto looked back at Yujito and gave her a small smile. See you when I see you. Yujito chuckled. Yeah. They hugged briefly. Kiba whistled at the two but quickly stopped as Karui put her to his man parts. Shino and Omoi just shook their heads in unison. With that, Team 8 and Team Samui left. What they didn't know, this was the beginning of another legend. Konoha, yeah, I know, hell of a time skip. 5 days later, Kiba was limping. Naruto entered the village and immediately regretted it. He saw the stares, heard the mutters, and the hate was intensive. It was choking, made him gasp at the sheer wall of loathe he felt. Naruto felt a hand on his arm and Naruto relaxed instantly. Naruto turned expecting Kurenai, but instead it was Kiba. Kiba looked at him in concern. Hey man, you okay? Akamaru, who was on his head, barked in a worried bark. Naruto nodded his head, smiling. He wasn't alone. As they walked through, Kurenai smiled. Team 8 was growing more as a team, as a family. Anko had ran off to Kami knows where and Nico had to report to Anbu immediately. Shino walked up to Kiba and Naruto and whispered in a low voice. Are we still doing our night escapades? Naruto nodded and smiled of course, but his smile immediately dropped as he heard F King Demon. Shino and Kiba also heard this. Kiba was about to turn right around and pound some sense in that man, but he was stopped when Shino put a hand on his shoulder and shook his head. Naruto smiled weakly at Kiba and motioned him to go to the tower. With that, Team 8 endured as a family the hate and pain of one. But along the way, Kiba and Shino wondered what Naruto had done to deserve this. Hokage Tower. 2 weeks later, Sarutobi listened to the reports from all of his spies, contacts and friends. The countries were on a thin line right now. All the villages were tottering on one side or the other. Sarutobi needed to get as many villages as possible. The only way to do that is to look strong. The professor needed to play the strong card. But how the countries were hostile as it is. The Sandaime looked at the previous Hokages inside. He remembered back when the nations were at peace before the Third Great War. He had watched. Wait, that's IT. The Hokage immediately motioned for Anbu. Eagle, I need you to get Danzo here right away. The Anbu left immediately, and 15 minutes later Danzo was standing in his office flanked by an Anbu root. Danzo nodded to the Hokage. The plans are going well. All my shinobi have infiltrated IWA and have set up a suitable crippler. Sarutobi nodded. The less he knew, the less guilty conscience he would have. We know there is going to be another all-out war. There was a pause. Both of them had seen the desperation, the carnage an all-out war would have. I believe that we need more villages on our side. Danzo nodded once again. I have several options we could. The Sandaime held up his head and smiled. I have one, and wanted your opinion. Do you remember watching tournaments before the Third Great Shinobi War? Danzo one eye widened and his smile grew. Oh yes, I see where you're going. Well, it'll have to be Genins then. Don't want to spook them and have them not come. Sarutobi nodded. We can make an excuse as a replacement for Chunin exams. Danzo and the Hokage smiled and thought this could work. After 1 week after Danzo met with the Hokage to discuss the tournament, the Sandaime of Konoha sent invitations to a tournament in Kusa with all neutrality and stuff. He sent it to the other 4 great villages, Ain, Taki, and even to a new village called Odokagir. As Danzo had predicted in their discussion, a month after that Kusa declared it was breaking up from Konoha Alliance to hold the tournament. Konoha wouldn't need that weak village anyways. With Kusa's declaration, the other Kages sent in their acceptances and that the tournament would place in 4 months so that Genins can prepare. Now the Hokage thought who to choose. Training Ground 27. Team 8 was waiting for their senseis who were getting briefed by the Hokage. Naruto was busy scribbling like mad on his scroll. Checking and rechecking. Akamaru was lounging in a tree while Kiba was doing some exercises to stretch his limbs. Though his body did heal, the doctor said he should keep stretching continuously. Shino was relaxing in the shade of tree. Naruto sighed and scratched his head in frustration. Dang it. I can't see how to adapt it to the hands arggh. With that, Naruto started ranting and yelling about seals and their adaptability. Naruto was starting 2 new projects for his team, and he was having a tough time. Shino and Kiba weren't bothered by Naruto yelling out random seal equations because they were quite used to it. F asterisk King A Naruto screamed on top of his lungs, then he stopped and sighed. Why won't you work, guys? I'm gonna go practice Shunpa to cool off. His team nodded once again. This is all routine. Naruto got in the middle of the field and took a deep breath. He disappeared, leaving an afterimage. Then he appeared all around in dozens of circles. Though it looked like Kage Bunshin, you could see a faint blur over all of the clones. Yujito's suggestion not only improved the speed of the Shunpa, it made it more versatile. Naruto could now move without stopping, and the afterimages was simply him tapping the ground, moving somewhere else. Guys think Ichigo's Bankai vs Byakuya. When Naruto compared it to Hiraishin, he felt that he surpassed it in its speed and reliability. The only problem was that he needed to use it consecutively without hampering his chakra supply or mental energy. Naruto stopped breathing hard but not panting like he used to. Over the time, Naruto found out that his body needs to react faster. So he did the forbidden thing, and while asked Enko to help him train, he regretted it almost immediately, but the benefits were there. Naruto looked at the board in the middle of the field. So I'm gonna play chess. Enko nodded, but at the same time we are going to be fighting. Also, you can't use Kage Bunshin or your seals. Naruto nodded, very scared. Am I screwed? Enko took out a kunai and licked it. I'm gonna love this. Naruto knew it. No, I'm fucked. You could hear the yellings of damn it motherfucker you bitch from miles away. And so Naruto's extra training with Enko got him new reflexes on his subconscious. Kiba also got special training from his parents. With his failure to keep up with the pack, even though he was told millions of times that he had saved their lives, and get injured, he pushed himself harder. He finished learning his taijutsu and now just needed to master it, which he was doing quite easily. He was hailed as a prodigy to his surprise. It took all of Kurenai's, Naruto's, and even Shino's patience to make sure that it didn't get to his head. Shino was taking a real chance on his style. After the trip, Shino had forced Naruto, with bugs, to create a couple projects for him. Naruto had finished the heaviest project that had two parts. The first part was already applied and the other needed a lot of effort to make sure it would work. If this worked, then he would be able to attack his enemies much faster. 20 minutes later, Kurenai arrived to see her teams in their respective relative positions, if you could call Naruto's scribbling and cursing that. Team. Her team turned to her smiling. She smiled back. This was her team, though rough around the edges they had the potential to be the best. We have the next 4 months to train. We have been recommended for the Shinobi Genin tournament. Time skip 3 months. Naruto woke up early that morning, and as per usually walked toward the kitchen groggily. He took out his pan and started frying 6 eggs and 12 bacon. He put the pot on and put in leftover miso soup. Naruto also put his new coffee machine on and set up for at least 5 cups. Naruto then made 4 Kage Bunshin to watch each frying food and clean up the place. Naruto's house had become the hub for the meeting place for some reason. Kurenai and Enko just decided to show up in the morning instead of meeting at the training grounds a couple months back, and Teen 8 just rolled with it. Naruto got in the shower and started to wash himself. Even through his shower, he could hear Kiba getting up messily and cursing that his limbs sores. He even sensed Shino getting up and going to the window to let out his kikai so they could get some food from plants. Naruto got out of the shower and put on his clothes. He reapplied his bandages and walked out. Kiba brushed past him, muttering something about bad chicken. Naruto just shook his head and saw that the Kage Bunshins were serving the plates. Naruto sighed and walked towards the door and braced himself. There was a light knock on it. Naruto reached and opened the door. When the door was opened so fast that it made Naruto smash against the wall. Naruto heard the call of his psychotic sensei, Brad, I smell food. He also heard the voice of his more reasonable sensei, Enko. It's in the middle of the morning. Naruto got up and shook his head. This was routine, so Naruto was used to the exciting morning. Akamaru bounded up and started running around Kurenai's legs. Naruto looked at them and nodded. Breakfast is ready, he said in a tired voice. Enko and Kurenai raised an eyebrow and followed him into the kitchen. Enko questioned Naruto, what's up with you? Naruto looked back and yawned. I finished applying the last seals to my projects, and they are in every way perfect. I double-checked while the others were sleeping. Enko and Kurenai nodded. That was a reasonable excuse. Ichiwai Kurenai-sensei and Aokyo-sensei, Kiba yelled while putting his shirt on. Enko eyes brightened. Hi to you too, and Enko turned to Kurenai. See, at least someone is energetic in the morning. Kurenai just rolled her eyes. Kurenai-sensei, Enko-sensei, Shino said while doing his signature jutsu dubbed my Naruto the silent cool pushing up the glasses technique. Kurenai nodded back and then gave a pointed look at Enko, who grumbled something about stupid silent people. They all sat down and started eating. Kiba, eat with your mouth closed, Kurenai reprimanded. But why? Kiba asked, food still in his mouth. All of a sudden Kiba's hand was almost stabbed by a kunai. Because she said so, Enko yelled. Naruto sighed. Can we not destroy my table? Enko-sensei, can you not steal my bacon? Shino asked. After a few seconds, never mind, Enko-sensei, go ahead and have it, Shino said, sweating. Brad, refill on coffee, Enko yelled. Get it yourself, Naruto yelled back, frying getting the miso soup. A few seconds later, F King Demit, fine, I'll get your DMN coffee, Naruto said while limping to the coffee machine. Kurenai snuck Amakaru a piece of her bacon. A few minutes later, Kiba did the same thing. A few minutes later, Enko gave Akamaru some of her egg. A few minutes later, Naruto gave Akamaru a whole sliced bacon. A few minutes later, Shino gave Akamaru the rest of his miso soup. A very satisfied Akamaru smiled under the table. Humans were so easy to use. Can you help me with the plates, Kurenai-sensei? Naruto asked. Sure, Naruto, Kurenai said, collecting the plates. Wait, give me a sec, Kiba said. Kiba grabbed all the plates and then put them in front of Akamaru, who licked them all. The occupants of the room, except for Kiba, eyes all wide and the plates were all licked clean. Well, that helps, Naruto coughed. Akamaru just barked happily. Oh yes, these humans were easy to use. After they had finally finished eating, they were outside and walking towards the Hokage Tower. Naruto stared, thinking about the tournament they had been training for. Sensei, what kind of tournament is it? Kurenai turned to him and smiled. It has 2 divisions to it, the team division, which is team versus team, or the single combat division. Shino asked his question, what are we participating then? Enko decided to answer, it is pre-decided by the Hokage, but either way you'll be able to win in both. Though I think the Ino Shikacho might give you a run for your money, cause I heard Asuma was working with Genma, and hate to get them into shape. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Hate as in the sword master. Enko looked at him and nodded. Yeah, you know him? Naruto shook his head. Kitty-chan is his girlfriend. Enko and Kurenai froze. This was news. Their inner gossip was giggling in delight. They had something over that Kanochi. But then again, she probably knew about their boyfriends as well. Senseis, what are you stopping for? Oh, nothing, Kurenai responded. And they continued their walk to the Hokage Tower. Hokage Tower. As Team 8 entered the room, they saw 3 other teams. Team 10 and Team 7 were present, and another team. The Hokage smiled at them. Come in, we were about to start the briefing. As they entered, they stared at Kakashi. Hey Gigi, why is Kakashi early? Sakura screeched at him. Naruto, Baka, don't disrespect the Hokage. She made to hit him, but it was blocked quickly by his bandaged hand, and immediately another hand went to Kunai. Luckily Naruto stopped himself from drawing it. Sakura noticed his arms. Hey, what's with the bandages? Naruto smiled. It's a testament to my hard work. YOSHA boy from the other team said it is great to see another person ready in the ways of youth. Naruto stared at him. Were those eyebrows real? Naruto shook his head to get himself out of shock and held out a hand. My name's Uzumaki. Naruto, pleased to meet you. The boy in the green, whatever that monstrosity was, shook his hand. My name is Lee. Naruto's arm was abused as it was shook vigorously. Heh yeah. Ahem, the Hokage coughed. Immediately Naruto broke free and faced the Hokage. It was all business now. I am sending you all to the tournament. Team 10, you will be participating in the teen unit. I hope you live up to your parents' legacy. Team 10 nodded and Ino yelled, of course, Hokage-sama. Naruto looked at them and raised a surprised eyebrow. It seemed that Team 10 had put on some muscle. Naruto saw that Ino and Shikamaru had developed a firmer frame and Choji was more solid. He also noticed the relaxed presence they had around each other, just like Team 8 had. Team 9, Naruto assumed that it was Lee's team. I am sending you also on the team division. The leader of the team looked uneasy. Naruto just looked at the team leader right now and stared. HOYSHT. Let's not go there, shall we? The Hokage noticed there's something wrong. Guy nodded and said in a serious tone that surprised his team and the Jounins in the room. Is my team not youthful enough to participate in the singles tournament? The Hokage shook his head and sighed. My advisors influenced my decision. Guy nodded. He understood what happened. The Hokage turned to Team 7. Sasuke, you out of your team will be participating in the tournament. This made the Genins raise eyebrows. Hinata decided to speak out. Hokage-sama, why? Because the advisors didn't want to endanger you both, so only Sasuke was allowed. With that, Naruto saw the bigger picture, and his face darkened. More special treatment for the Uchiha. Kashi sighed. Don't worry, you two, I'll train you when we are there. Sakura nodded, a bit downtrodden. Finally, the Hokage turned to Team 8. Now, Team 8, all of you will be participating in the singles tournament. I expect great things from you. Team 8 nodded. Now the Hokage leaned back and addressed them all. You will be meeting with a team from Suna who is participating in the single tournament. Then you'll head over to Kusa. Then the Hokage's face darkened as he looked at them. Each of the Nins in the room stood straighter. I expect you to be on your best behavior. Do not under any circumstances start fights outside the tournament. This is for the future of Konoha. Each of the Genins nodded solemnly. Could you leave in a week? With that, Team 8 dispersed to say goodbye to their families for a day. Then for the next 5 days they ate, slept, and trained at Training Ground 27, and for 5 days straight they practiced the mother of all skills, repetition, and more practice. A pun if you really get it. Konoha North Gate. Team 8 minus Anko was waiting at the gates. They were snacking on wrapped omelets Kiba had shown them how to make. Surprisingly, Kiba's mother, Sim, taught it to him because she didn't have anything else to teach him. Kiba couldn't do the more advanced techniques since Akamaru wasn't ready and Kiba's body wasn't at its best condition. Shino was actually developing his own techniques, and Naruto had taken the liberty of making him a blood scroll so he could keep the scroll to himself. Shino told him that his clan's techniques were outdated and needed replacing. Naruto thought that was harsh, but Shino only said it was logical. Naruto himself had been working on a way to shorten the amount chakra necessary to push off so he could use it more often. Naruto sighed. This was going to be one hell of a day. Hey guys, Team 8 turned to see Teen Guy with the girl with the 2 hair buns. Naruto raised a hand high. I think we never got introduced. The name's Uzumaki. Naruto. The girl gave him a smile. Call me Tenten. The boy next to her had long hair and a ponytail. And wait, eyes Hyuga and Naruto thought. My name is Niji, the boy said. Naruto just smiled again. Kiba and Shino noticed this wasn't the usual smile Naruto had. It was a face smile one used when he was either bored or annoyed. What's wrong with him, Kiba thought. Naruto talked casually with Teen Guy for a while before returning to his team. As he was walking back to his team, Team 10 and part of Team 7 showed up. Naruto's eyes twitched, and he greeted Team 10 with the same smile. Kurenai went to talk with the other Jounins to see what they knew so they knew what to train during the trip. As Naruto talked with the other teams, Kiba and Shino, Naruto's fake smile once again and his eyes twitching. Of course the other teams couldn't see through the disguise of the happy and carefree boy Naruto had put up. Shino also noticed that Naruto wanted to get away but was having a hard time since they kept continuing the conversation. Shino bumped Kiba lightly. "Kiba, get him out of there," Shino said. Kiba nodded. "Hey Naruto, can you come check on my right hand? The thing feels funny." Everyone turned to stare at him except for the members of Team 8 who knew what he actually meant. Naruto walked over. "Let me see, maybe the reactor buffer is acting up again." Kiba rolled over his sleeve to show a ring of flame tattoos all around his wrist. Everyone looked at it with interest. Kakashi appeared on the seals next to the Jounins and walked near Kurenai and whispered, "Is that seals?" Kurenai nodded. "Yeah, Naruto created them a while back for the whole team." Kakashi raised one lazy eyebrow. "Interesting, is it that?" Kurenai chuckled at his joke. "No, he made a different version to fit them." Kakashi nodded. Sasuke looked with interest at the seals. "Hey Dobe, what are the seals?" He is talking to Kiba. Kiba and Naruto ignored him since Naruto was explaining once again how to operate whatever he had on. Sakura, for all her fangirlness, grew angry. "Hey, Sasuke-kun is talking to you, pay attention." She moved to hit Kiba but her hand was stopped once again. Sakura looked at Naruto, about to yell at him too, but stopped. Naruto looked her dead in the eye, the annoyance clear on his face. "Sakura-san, it would be best if you did not try to attack my teammates." Sakura took a step back and Naruto shook his head and sighed. He turned back to Kiba. "Okay, it looks fine, but remember if there is any burst that doesn't go, do not use that hand until the chakra unjams. It should only take a couple seconds to do so." Sasuke looked in annoyance. "Hey, I'm talking to you." Naruto just waved his hand like Sasuke was annoying and should go away. "Now Kiba, make sure you be careful, don't overdose it like you usually do." Kiba nodded. Yeah, I got it." Naruto looked Kiba dead in the eye. "I'm serious." "Fine, I get it, man." Ahem. Everyone turned to see Kakashi standing there waiting with the other Jounins. "You're late," Sakura screeched. Everyone else winced at the loudness. Team 8 sighed, including Kurenai. It was going to be a LONG day. 2 days later, Naruto wanted to commit seppuku right there. Kami, were they annoying? Team 10 was just fine. Ino was just talked around with her team, and sometimes Team 10 would talk amongst each other. Team 9 or Guy's team wasn't bad either. They were actually good fighters, so they got some tips on some moves. For example, 10-10 would show them how to make a kunai's path bend or how to make it fall sharply at a certain point. Team 8 and 10 drank it like hot chocolate. Rock Lee started to spar with them in taijutsu. He was better than Shino in it, but Kiba was giving Lee a run for his money. Shikamaru would play shogi with Naruto, but Naruto would lose because he always started freeze and reach for a kunai when Shikamaru made a move. The *M reflexes. Now the team that made everything go bad was good. Team 7 Hinata wasn't that bad, only she was really quiet. But Sasuke and his fangirl Sakura was annoying as hell. Sakura would just cheer on Sasuke and do Jack *T, and Sasuke would keep challenging everyone. Niji and Rock Lee continued to put him in his place. When Sasuke gave up and started Team 8, they just ignored him. Then Sasuke started to jeer at them, trying to provoke them. Of course they were able to take it, but Kiba and Naruto also wanted to smash in that pretty boy's face. The only problem was that they made a promise with Kurenai not to cause any fights, or they would have a 3-day training session with Enko. They were good fighters, but none of them were suicidal enough to even face Enko. And now they were in the hot desert. Excuse me, desert. Naruto was hallucinating. Naruto looked and thought he was hallucinating again. "Hey Kiba." Kiba looked up weirdly. "Yeah, is that Suna?" Kiba looked up and saw the village. "Probably not, must be hallucinating." "Yeah, maybe. Actually it is the village," Shino said with his signature silent cool, pushing up the glasses jutsu. Naruto was about to use Shunpa to get into the village, but Kurenai read his mind. "Oh no, you don't, Naruto. If you even try it, I'll make sure I lock you up with Enko in one of the cells." All the Jounins and teammate winced. Sakura looked around questioningly. "Who is Enko?" Teammates sighed. "Our other sensei, only psychotic," they said in unison. Enko was working with a patient who was quite difficult to break and suddenly sneezed. The patient screamed, "No germs, no, I hate germs." Enko smirked and reminded herself to thank whoever made her sneeze. As they entered, Naruto and teammate looked around. It was quite different from Konoha and was dusty like an old town. Ma, guys, don't go running off," Kakashi drawled out. Hi, Naruto replied. Then he saw the Kazekage's tower. Naruto turned to Kurenai. "Do we reply to the Kazekage?" Kurenai nodded. "He'll give us our room and a team will be traveling with." Kazekage Tower. Konoha's team entered the tower. Team 8, who had more experience with foreign kages, bowed in respect. Team 9 and 10 followed suit, but Team 7 remained oblivious. Kurenai decided to step forward. "Kazekage-sama, we are from Konoha." The Kazekage raised a hand. "I know." He then took out a note and passed it to Kurenai. "This is where you will be staying, and I'll let you meet my team." "Come in," the Kazekage called out, and entered 3 Genins not much older than Gaara. The first one to enter was wearing a hooded outfit with some makeup. Naruto didn't judge everything paled when compared to Lee's and Guy's get up. He had a pack on the back which suggested he was a puppeteer. Team 8 had researched heavily on all the Countaire's Nin types. The second was a blonde with 2 piggy tails. She had a battle fan on the back suggesting she was a wind user. Finally, the last one was the red-haired boy with a tattoo with the kanji love. Naruto looked over him carefully and zeroed in on his eyes. He could usually find something about a person through their eyes. Naruto froze as he looked at his eyes. Though it seemed that the boy was staring at them, he wasn't looking at them directly. This red-headed boy was afraid what he might see in their eyes. It was so similar to Naruto's eyes a long time ago. Naruto knew this pain. He had seen it once when he was young. He saw it in his mirror as he was washing his face. This is the Kazekage, started Gaara. Naruto looked into Gaara's eyes and he stared back into them. There was no hostility, no bloodlust, just curiosity. Just interest in what was before them. Was it a mystic force that made them suddenly interested in each other? Was it some kind of act of kami? Who knows, but one thing was sure: what happened next would be very strange. Naruto watched as Gaara allowed a swirl of sand to travel towards Naruto. It was invisible to everyone else in the room, but Naruto knew this feeling. It was yokai. He had felt this chakra, so foreign yet a part of him, every time he used his flaming skylark seals. It held malevolence, anger, and power. So much power. Gaara's sand reached Naruto's backhand and pressed against it. Naruto's eyes widened slightly as he understood what was going on. Are you like me? The sand wrote against Naruto's palm. The sand would press against Naruto's hands, forming letters. Naruto closed his eyes briefly and then opened his eyes quickly. Only Gaara saw what Naruto's eyes had become. They had become red. Naruto blinked once more and his eyes turned back to their regular shade of blue. Gaara's heart was now in his throat. He had this tingling feeling. It was so different. So strange. What was this feeling? No, he had felt this before. But when was that? It was so long ago. This interaction had taken only 14 seconds, and no one in the room other than the Jinchuriki came about it. They had made their greetings and all the nins left the room. Naruto walked slowly with his team towards the hotel. Kurenai had noticed that Naruto was very silent. Way too silent. What is wrong, Naruto? Naruto looked up with a pensive look. I am going to go out for a while. Kurenai-sensei, I have an acquaintance to meet. Kurenai nodded slowly. She trusted Naruto to not do something stupid. With that, Naruto disappeared. The next day, Naruto once again returned late at night. Though the other teams looked at him strangely, the teammate didn't bother because he usually did that, as the Konoha teams waited at the gates for a couple minutes before they saw the Suna team. Their Jounin instructor Baki was leading them. Naruto waved, and to the surprise of the Suna teams, Gaara nodded back. Naruto nodded to the other two. Temari, right? Naruto pointed at the piggy-tailed girl, nodded. Naruto turned to the puppeteer Kankuro. Kankuro nodded, a bit confused about how he knew their names when he wasn't introduced. Baki cleared his throat. Come, let us go before the sun gets really hot. The teams nodded and they started to run forward. 3 days later, they were finally out of the desert. Gaara had been more open, well, in Gaara's terms, because he didn't open his mouth just to tell you he wanted to kill you, which was scary as hell to the Suna team. He answered questions politely and not once threatened to kill anyone, which really creeped everyone out. When Sasuke asked for a fight, Gaara politely declined. When Sasuke tried to ask again, Kakashi stopped him and made him shut up for the rest of the trip. Naruto introduced the Suna team and the teams became friends. When Shino started asking about the puppet mechanics, Kankuro took out a manual scroll which showed the basic inlays. Naruto admitted the puppet was extremely complicated and it was only one part of true puppet show. All in all, the trip was quite uneventful, and the AHD finally reached Kusa. Naruto looked at it and raised an eyebrow. Sure, there were huge mushrooms and gigantic blades of grass, but the village was just a mass of buildings with a tower in the middle and a cement wall around it. Nothing intimidating, nothing that catches your eye, just plain boring. Hell, even Konoha had the mountain. Suna had the small pocket of lakes, and Kumo had high mountain ranges with buildings attached to the side. These things made the village look impressive, but this place was just boring. They walked in and were greeted by two Kusa chunins. Hello Konoha and Suna nins, your rooms are ready. We are sorry you cannot see the Kuzakage. I'm not sure whether this is right or not, so please tell me. He is busy at the moment, but you will see him at the start of the tournament 2 days from now. Your hotel is here. The chunins handed each of them a very good map that they could easily follow from anywhere in the city. Kurenai turned to her team. Let's put away our stuff and explore him. Teammate cheered. Shino did a slight nod, which was good enough for Kurenai. We'll go with you, Baki said. Kurenai nodded. Alright. With that, the two teams left the other ones, after putting away their stuff. Hey Gaara, wanna come with us to explore? Naruto asked. Gaara looked up from his pack and nodded. Alright, come on. Naruto motioned him to follow. Gaara followed silently to the lobby where Kiba and Shino were standing. Next to them were Kankuro and Temari. Naruto raised an eyebrow. You guys coming too? Kankuro and Temari nodded. Yeah, I wanna see the city. Temari answered. Alright, let's go. With that, the Genins left the building. They walked around for a couple hours looking around at shops, not finding anything eye-catching. Naruto yawned. Man, the city is boring. The others nodded in agreement. By this time, the streets were bustling with people, so one could pick up random conversation. Temari overheard a conversation in the restaurant. Oh, stop complaining. Man, I knew I should have brought some mayonnaise to put on my fries. Temari whipped her head around and said out loud, mayonnaise on fries. Her group stopped and turned to her. Naruto asked in a quizzical tone, mayonnaise on fries. Temari nodded. Yes, some person over there is complaining about not having mayonnaise on fries. Naruto's eyes lit up and he turned to Shino and Kiba. You think? Shino nodded. We only know one person who would do it. Kiba nodded. I can smell him too. Naruto smiled. Come on then. Naruto turned to Gaara. Wanna meet the another side of the coin? Gaara's eyes widened and nodded. With that, they walked towards where Kiba led them. They entered and saw a familiar sight. A girl with red hair was yelling at another boy who was eating fries while dipping them in a jar of mayonnaise he had found. A blonde-haired girl with a ponytail was eating a plate of sashimi, calmly ignoring the two. Kiba and Shino chuckled quietly at the sight while Temari and Kankuro looked at the scene while sweat dropping. Karui had grown out her hair a bit longer and Omo now was sporting a small scar on his arm. Yujito had grown her hair out too, but she looked the same. Naruto walked up and said, "Can I have some?" Omo dipped 3 fries in the mayonnaise and held them out without looking. "Here you go, Naruto." There was a pause. Karui, Omoy, and Yujito froze. "Naruto!" They all cried. Karui and Omoy jumped up and waved at Kiba and Shino. "Hey guys, when you get here." Kiba laughed. "A few hours ago." Omoy got in his thinking pose. "We came here early, like 3 days ago." Naruto Kyuin. Naruto was tackled by another blonde. Naruto barely kept his balance. "Hey Yujito-chan." Naruto pushed Yujito back and smiled. "Naruto." Naruto turned and saw Gaara staring at Yujito. Naruto palmed his face. "Oh yeah, Gaara, this is Yujito. Yujito, this is Gaara. We're all the same." Yujito's eyes widened and her face grew brighter. She held out a hand high. Gaara slowly reached out and shook it. They stared in each other's eyes, looking and seeing the pain, looking and seeing that they understood each other, looking and seeing that they both knew they weren't alone anymore. Naruto introduced the Suna team to Team Samui. The greetings were polite, and they all sat down to order some grub. It was a fun dinner, lots of yelling. Kiba crying in pain. Kiba running away because he accidentally touched some things he wasn't supposed to because Karui bonked him on the head. Well, let's just say Kiba was running fast while Karui and Temari chasing after him. Yujito and Gaara just watched this and laughed while Gaara gave a faint smile. In 2 days the start of tournament would begin, and the lives of these genins would change. With war. 2 days later from last chapter, this does not count in the 2 time skips. For the next 2 days the genins just lounged around. They played some card games or did some light sparring. Nothing too extraneous. As the day grew closer, Naruto could feel the excitement. The lust for fight, it was intoxicating to him. Naruto looked down at his bandages, his ace in the hole. He had found a way to concentrate the fire, but when he tested it on of the larger boulders in training ground 27, it melted a clear tunnel through the rock and the trees behind it. Naruto would only use it if necessary. He had no doubt it could kill. Naruto walked downstairs and saw that his team were ready. He had heard from Kurenai-sensei that the first few days would actually be the team fighting, since it would be shorter in the number of fights. Then they would hold off the finals for 3 weeks, giving the teams enough time to make new strategies and prepare, and for the Kages to get here. Once again guys, if you know what the names for the leaders in the smaller villages, please tell me. Somewhere in the later part of the first week the single tournament will start. Kurenai said that it would have 6 brackets and multiple arenas. In the end there would be a 1 versus 1 fight. Since there were more fights, it would only give the fighters 1 week to do rest and prepare. The actual rules of the fights would explain during the introduction of the tournament. Hey Kiba. Naruto waved. Naruto was a bit late because he had reapplied his newly improved Shunpaseal. Kiba yawned back while Akamaru barked happily from Kiba's jacket. Shino nodded towards Naruto, who waved back. Kurenai-sensei is with the other Jounins and they are all meeting up with the Kuzakage. One again, if anyone knows what it's actually called, please tell me. Naruto nodded. Alright, let's go. And so the 3 set off towards the arena, which they had found 2 days ago because of the gigantic sign arena on it. Though today they wouldn't be participating, it was necessary for them to watch. Teammate was not ignorant. They knew that the assassination attempt was like a silent declaration of war. Konoha needed information, and this tournament would provide the perfect stage for it. The reason Teammate went to search around the village was not just to familiarize themselves with it, but to spy. Shino had already planted Kikai on almost all the teams not in the Konoha Alliance. Kiba and Akamaru had memorized every single scent of their allies just in case they were in trouble and needed to be found. The data collection and report would be turned in by Naruto, who would compile each of the information and hand it to the Hokage. Of course they weren't ordered to do this, but Kurenai hinted she would do something like it as well, so might as well follow suit. At the arena. When they had arrived at the arena, the whole entire floor, hallways, seats, and other areas including the bathrooms were packed, and since it was so full no one could go anywhere. Naruto, Shino and Kiba looked at the stuck pack and sighed. Luckily for participating shinobi, there was a special viewing area for them. Sadly, with all these people it would be impossible to get to the other side. Maybe they should have woken up earlier. Naruto looked at Kiba, who looked at Shino, who looked at the side of the wall. And so people in the bathrooms, seats, hallways and floor watched as Teammate walked on the side of the wall to get to their destination. Half an hour later, as Naruto looked from the Konoha Shinobi Lounge, Naruto had to admit he was impressed. The arena was split into many parts. First there was the arena floor. It was fit with several small but deep pond, some patches of forest, and some stones/boulders here and there. Now spread that across 700 square feet, and you get the picture. It was so that all shinobi had even footing. The Kusanins had worked around the clock to make everything. Now for the observers. There was the upper deck. This was for civilians or the non-essentials, people who came to see the action. Either way, each of these people had to be either foreign or rich. The second was the bottom observer. These people were the people Naruto needed to impress. The bottom deck was basically only a little above the arena floor, far enough to see the whole arena but close enough to see the action in detail. It was basically an observation deck, and the windows were made from chakra-reinforced glass. These people had to be rich, influential, and had to at least own some high-class business. Naruto smiled to himself. If he played the strong impression here, he could persuade people to fund Konoha, because business people always wants to go with the winner. Now finally there was what Naruto called the pits. These pits were actually the shinobi lounges. They were on the same floor as the arena though inside. Those watching the match or preparing for a match would stay there. Each pit was separated and had jounins guarding each pit. Not that the kusanins were fearing someone would attack the nins, but to stop any foul play. The lounges were stocked with water, some snacks. It also had whetstones to sharpen any kunais, paper and ink for any seals, even some gunpowder and other chemicals to make flash bangs. The nins could use these items to their heart's content, but they could not leave the room unless it was their match. The lounge was actually pretty nice. It had 2 couches and a large table in the middle with a map of the arena on it. Kiba was currently making a flare for Shikamaru. Surprisingly, the Naras had actually made the designs for one but never got around to making one. Shikamaru had just found out about it and asked Kiba to make a couple. Though they would be an extreme asset to Shikamaru and his team, Kiba would need an hour to complete it, due to its complexity. Naruto didn't understand its use during the day, but he had no right to complain. Naruto was at the side making shock tags. These tags, as their name implies, releases about 10 million. I've checked, not enough to kill, of volts in the vicinity and are very dangerous. Though they cannot kill, they can seriously injure someone. Naruto had made 10 of them already and handed it, 5 to each team. As of right now, Team 10 and Team 9 were waiting in the lounge. In about 10 minutes they would post up the 2 brackets for the team battles. Their jounins were in the observation deck because they could not help their team for the next round. Shikamaru was talking to his team about the strategies he had planned and the code words to go with it. Choji, like always, was eating while listening. And Ino, surprisingly, or at least to others, was actually focusing all of her attention on him. Niji and Tenten were debating on strategies. Lee listened while stretching his legs. Naruto sighed. Though these teams were smart, he had to make something clear. Hey guys. Everyone turned to him. Naruto looked at every one of them. Though they were all at least the same age, or older than him, they did not know the true meaning of this. Understood the Hokage *LL. The Hokage had been his friend for all of Naruto's life. Naruto leaned forward on his seat, his face serious. This tournament is being held in the preparation for war. Team 7, 9. Ino and Choji blinked and was silent. Shikamaru also understood. Of course, he was a genius after all. Sakura was wide-eyed. What do you mean? Naruto sighed. We are going to war. It's obvious, unavoidable. This tournament will be a big part in deciding who wins and who doesn't. Ino, who had recovered from shock by processing the information so fast that her father would be proud. What do you mean? Naruto looked at her. A couple months ago, Team 8 and a Kumo team had an attempted assassination by IWA. Naruto looked at her. A couple months ago, IWA tried to assassinate Team 8 and a team from Kumo. The room gasped. Naruto ignored them and continued. Also, Kurenai-sensei has told us of the new aggression of Kuri's towards Konoha due to our bloodlines, and they have made an alliance with IWA. Simply put, Konoha will have to fight IWA and Kuri. Sakura then, thinking fast, retorted, but they'd be fighting Suna and Kumoto since we allied with them. Naruto nodded. But there's a new village that has appeared. Odo and our friend, Naruto said, also indicating to Shino and Kiba. Anko-sensei, Team 8 shivered slightly, has told us that the Hokage believes Odo has allied with IWA and Kuri. Though this village may be new, it will put the war on even footing, allowing IWA and Kuri to battle it out. Sandenji Jin knew this and held this tournament instead of the Chunin exams. Niji looked at Naruto and saw the complete confidence and utter truth he held in his voice and deemed him knowledgeable. Niji understood that this boy knew what he was talking about and was trying to tell them something important. Niji asked, then why did he hold this tournament then? Naruto nodded at Niji. This tournament is held with all the villages, not just ones we are allied with. Unlike the Chunin exams, we will be fighting our allies as well as our future enemies. Outside there are wealthy business people, people with connections, benefactors. These people are the people we need to convince we are the stronger side. Why? Because they will sponsor us, and if we're lucky we can get Takakagure, the only village that has not yet decided on who to fight for, on our side. There was a silence. The information that they were now going to be the tools to start a war was reassuring. Sasuke, who now was interested in what Naruto was saying, decided to speak up and the point in acting as lobbyists. Naruto turned to Sasuke. My point is that when you're out there you need to remember 3 things to get people on our side. 1. Follow the rules so we won't look bad, and even if you lose, don't retaliate. We want to show we have honor. 2. Don't harm any other nins too severely if they are not IWA or Kuri. If they are, butcher them. Finally, make a show of your opponents. Show them that they are weak and not even worthy of your time. The room was silent. The Genins were amazed at his speech. Shikamaru sighed. Troublesome and maybe sort of troublesome. Just as Naruto finished, there was a knock on the door. Hinata opened it, and Akusa Jounin stood there holding out a paper. Hinata took it and closed the door. Hinata then gave it to Sakura, who laid it out on the table in the middle of the lounge. The paper laid out the brackets. It also read on the side that the rules, who would be going, and who had won the fight would be announced through the speakers in the rooms. Naruto scanned over the bracket with amusement. Konoha would be the only team besides IWA to actually have more than one team in this division. Kumo had 1 team, IWA had 2 teams, Kuri had 1, Odo had 1, Taki had 1, and with Konoha it made 8. Lucky for them, Konoha was on the opposite side of the brackets. Naruto looked at the opponent's Team 9's opponent was Taki and Team 10's first opponent Oto. Well, fuck, Naruto thought. But then he saw Shikamaru smiled and immediately stopped worrying. A smiling Shikamaru is a Shikamaru with a plan. Naruto looked back at the sheet and wondered how many would be in the singles tournament. Naruto was snapped out of his thoughts as the speakers came to life and a male voice came through it. Hello everyone, my name is Remo Kid. I will be the judge for the team battles. Now first I would like to explain the rules. Rule number 1. The matches will be lasting 3 hours each. If it goes over, I will stop the match and decide who has won. Rule number 2. I will stop the match when I see fit, and no arguments and no late hits. Rule number 3. If 2 of your team is out of the fight, you lose. Rule number 4. No killing. Rule number 5. Every item is fair game. Now with that, let's start the matches. The Konoha Genins could hear the roar of the crowd. Then they heard the speakers again. Will Konoha team 1 and the Oto team come to the arena floor? Naruto looked at Shikamaru and gave him the thumbs up. You guys got this, just focus on them and nothing else. Shikamaru nodded. Choji put down his bag. Team 10 walked in unison to the arena floor. As Shikamaru, Choji and Ino came out, they were suddenly impacted by pressure. The deafening roar of the crowd pushed on them as if their yells moved the air to push down on them. They looked around in wonder, but then Ino said, guys, focus. Shikamaru stopped looking around and looked at the Oto team, analyzing them for what they were worth. Choji shook himself out of his stupor and looked back at Oto Nins. Shikamaru started thinking of plans to beat them. The sun is behind us, so my shadow is lengthened, so I won't need fish hook or triple O. Oto sound must be ranged, and so plan raise and smash is out, but what? But then his mind drifted back to what Naruto had said, him make a show out of them. Yes, that could work. Shikamaru muttered, plan umbrella. Ino used the shock tag instead, since we don't have the flashbang, and Choji don't squash them too much. Shikamaru and his team walked closer to the center but spread out a little bit farther than normal. The proctor appeared about 10 feet from them so he wouldn't get caught in the fight. The Oto Nin were pretty close together. Once they had seen Team 10 spread out, they probably were thinking they were going to do a pincer, so they were going back to back a textbook strategy. Shikamaru mentally smirked. This would be easy. Begin, the proctor said. Immediately Ino charged to the side, pretending she was going for a pincer technique. Shikamaru mentally applauded Ino for her analyzation of the Oto's team pincer assumption. Choji ran up a tree and jumped off it, going very high in the air. He quickly used several jutsu and called out Baika no Jutsu. Choji's body expanded several times over, creating a large shadow over the area. The Oto Nin had first been distracted by Ino and immediately went back to back. But when Choji jumped up and used his technique, they immediately turned their attention to him. One of them was about to lift his arms and do something but found out he couldn't. What, I can't move. Then he unwillingly faced the boy with the ponytail. He yawned. Did you actually think we would be doing the pincer technique? You're boring. As he said that, Ino rushed in with a tag and placed it in the middle of the Oto Nin's formation, then jumped out, activating it. As she did, Shikamaru let his jutsu fall so he wouldn't feel the pain as well. The Oto Nin screamed out loud as several million volts coursed through their body. The volts stopped, leaving the Oto Nin shaking, unable to control their bodies. Sadly, this wasn't the end. You see, when Choji was up there, his body mass made him fall down hard, so Choji had to do something, and that was Nikuden Sasha, and a rolling mass of meat landed on the Oto Nins, crushing them. Choji immediately stopped the technique and jumped back to his team. The Oto Nin were now on the ground, their bones broken and mangled. All of them were unconscious. The crowd was silent. The Konoha team in the first round had beaten the Oto Nins in only a minute. The proctor immediately called it winner Konoha. The crowd snapped out of its stupor and roared. Team 10 turned back to the mangled bodies of Oto and walked back to their pit. Naruto waited for them to start. And like most tournaments, there was commentary. As he heard the commentary, he smiled. Shikamaru, you smart bastard. As he heard Konoha being called the winner, he lifted his arms in cheers, and the room was filled with yeses, and I knew they could do it. As Team 10 went in, they were greeted with congratulations and claps on the back. All the way Team 10 was smiling. The rest of the matches went a lot slower, taking up almost all of the 3 hours. When it was finally Team 9's turn, it was around 7 o'clock at night. And of course Team 9 fought Taki and they beat them. But the more important part of the day would happen with Naruto and the Jinchurikis. An hour later, it was late, and Naruto along with Gaara and Yujito were going around looking for food. Naruto said no to sushi and Gaara said no to ramen, and Yujito said no to barbacks, so they were walking around in search for food. Then Naruto saw a small shop that was for some homegrown food. Naruto pointed it out to Gaara, who shrugged. Then Gaara used his sand to drag Yujito into the shop. Inside they smelt warm bread and some hot soup with a nice and cozy atmosphere to it. Naruto looked over and saw Taki Nin sitting all by herself. She had light teal hair and orange eyes. She had dark skin but a bit lighter than Karu Yanomoi, was waiting for food while reading a small book. Naruto looked at Yujito and thrust a thumb in the direction of the girl. She shrugged and they walked over. Gaara grudgingly came along. As they approached her, she stopped reading and looked up. Naruto smiled and said, yo. The girl nodded. Hi, what do you want? Naruto scratched the back of his head. Do you mind if we sit with you? The girl shrugged, looked away, and muttered like anyone would want to sit with me. When Naruto heard it, he immediately looked in her eyes. Naruto was very good at reading people and expressing his emotions with his eyes. He could give a paragraph of emotions with his eyes. Naruto continued to look into her eyes as he, Gaara, and Yujito sat down. Naruto held out a hand. She looked at it, and stared and then looked at Naruto. The name's Uzumaki Naruto, this is Sabaku no Gaara, and Yujito ni. Naruto motioned towards them as he told their names. She chuckled and Naruto raised an eyebrow. She shook his hand, the name's Fu. And don't worry, I'm not laughing at you, just coincidence. What coincidence? Naruto asked. Fu threw him the book she was reading. Naruto looked at the title, Tale of the Gutsy Ninja. Naruto raised an eyebrow at it. He flipped through it, and as Fu said, the main character was named Naruto. The waitress came and Yujito ordered for them. Naruto was still looking at the book and Fu was taking a couple sips at her soup. Naruto chuckled, yeah, coincidence. Naruto gave back the book and Fu took it. Naruto looked her in the eyes once again. It wasn't like theirs, not like the Jinchuriki he had met so far. It didn't hold the pain of being abused or hurt, but it did hold the pain of loneliness. It did hold the pain of knowing that you are not human, that you will never be human. So different and similar, Naruto thought. Naruto decided he might as well try to confirm his growing suspicions. How do you like your village, Fu? At this, Yujito's and Gaara's eyes widened. He had asked the same question to them because they were. Fu thought about it a bit. It's a bit cold at times, as expected by living at a waterfall. But it is really peaceful once you're by yourself, just listening to nature, not people. Because you are different, Naruto interjected. Fu's eyes widened and then glared right at Naruto. What do you mean? She said, her hand reaching for her kunai. Naruto leaned forwards. What if I told you I am different as well? Fu laughed. You can't be the same different as me, Huma. What if I told you I wasn't human? Fu stopped laughing and glared at him. Fine, then answer me this, what do you hold? Naruto smiled. 9. Fu shocked. She didn't think he would answer the question. She thought he would answer something totally wrong, but then no, it was too good to be true. Fu recovered her control and motioned towards the other two. What about them? One, Gaara said clearly. 2, Yujito said right after. Fu sighed and put her elbows on the table, letting her head fall into her hands. You know how hard this is for me to believe? Naruto sighed. Yeah, for the first time you know. You know now that you are not alone in this world, that someone understands but also bear your pain. It's an overwhelming joy and sadness as well. Fu nodded. She had now doubts. Now they were telling the truth. Fu looked up and cleared her throat. Let me introduce myself. I am Fu, adopted daughter of Hizen the Takakage. 7 of demons. Naruto leaned back and smiled. It's surprising. I feel more at peace and now than I have compared to the rest of my life. Fu laughed. You don't say. And so the Jinchuriki talked amongst themselves like old friends wanting to catch up on the long years. Friends who believed in each other, friends that held each other's dearest secrets. Time skip 3. The next 2 days Team 10 dominated the team competitions. They had won all the way to the finals. Their combinations and use of items in their possessions was compared to the level of the original Ino Shikucho formation. It was breathtaking. Sadly, Team 9 wasn't so lucky. They fought against IWA in the semifinals and were defeated when Lee was received a gut wound and 10-10 was knocked out by a flying tree due to an explosion tag. Team 9 was now in the hospital being watched over by Guy, while Team 10 and Asima were out training in one of the provided training grounds. Today would be the beginning of the single matches. Naruto was silent. It would be his turn to fight, and he would make the most of it. There would be no showing of technique, no fancy flourish of a skill. It would be brute force, crushing raw power. Naruto was snapped out of his thoughts as the speakers came to life and a male voice came through it. Hello everyone. It's your host, Remo Keed, and we are about to start the single matches now. First I would like to explain the rules. Rule number 1. The matches will be lasting 1 hour each. If it goes over, I will stop the match and decide who has won. Rule number 2. I will stop the match when I see fit, and no arguments and no late hits. Rule number 3. If you are injured with a life-threatening wound, you are out of the fight. Rule number 4. If you are threatened with a life-threatening blow, you are out of the fight. Rule number 4. No killing. Rule number 5. Every item is fair game. Now with that, let's start the matches. The Konoha Genins could hear the roar of the crowd. Naruto sighed. Same thing as last time. Sure enough, another host came in with the singles bracket for the day. Naruto had to admit, this was a surprise. He was in the second round and no one was in with him, or at least no one from the allied villages. Naruto nodded to himself. This will be good. Hey Dobe, it looks like you're up. I hope you don't lose. Naruto's eyes flickered up to the Uchiha and rolled his eyes. I don't need to be told that. Naruto then looked down and focused himself. He wasn't nervous, but he could get distracted and that was bad for anyone, and so Naruto waited. What was minutes seemed like hours, and Naruto could feel the energy from the crowd as they roared and cheered for the combatants. It was invigorating. He wanted to get out there and destroy something, prove his mettle and show the world who he was. And now will Naruto Uzumaki of Konoha come up? And that was all Naruto heard. There was no more sound. It was all blank. Like someone had put mute onto the world. He saw people talk, even his teammates, but he didn't hear them. All that mattered was the match. Naruto walked up the steps and let the light from the sun engulf him. Naruto blinked at the setup. And then looked forward to see his opponent, an IWA Nin. Naruto smirked. Oh, this would be good. Naruto walked into the center, and so did the other Nin. Naruto immediately started analyzing his opponent, ignoring the yelling of the proctor. Scarred hands, so probably a taijutsu user. Doesn't seem all the strong in the legs, so he uses an upper body style. Unlikely he uses genjutsu, so I will begin. There was at first a hushed silence as the word was spoken. But then Naruto did something very unexpected. Naruto took a step forward, then another, then another. Naruto was literally walking, not running, but walking to the taijutsu user Nin. The Nin at first was shocked but then smirked. This guy was giving him the win. The other older, more experienced Nins knew what Naruto was doing. Naruto was baiting the guy. He was asking him to attack first, just mocking him. And if Naruto had the skills, Naruto would crush the IWA Nin. Naruto walked closer. 7 feet, 6 feet, 5 feet, 4 feet, 3 feet, 2 feet. And that was when the IWA Nin struck. He lashed out with a right haymaker intended to smash Naruto's jaw. Naruto bent forward and crouched slightly. He brought up his head and latched onto the Nin's wrist. He pushed against it, slowing it down. The Nin was about to throw his other hand, when Naruto suddenly let go of the Nin's right hand and punched the Nin straight into the jaw. The Nin stumbled back from the hit. But Naruto wasn't going to let up. Naruto ran forward, raising his right arm. He swiped downwards with a brutal hammer fist on the IWA Nin's head. The boy was brought to his knees by the force, and he was almost unconscious. Sadly, his heavy training was his demise. His instincts made him crawl back up to his feet and raise his hand into a taijutsu stance. Naruto took this as a go-ahead signal to beat the living shit out of him. Naruto ran forward and grabbed the dazed Nin's arm and shoulder. Naruto kneed the Nin in the stomach once. Twice. And on the third one he pushed off the floor with a Shuinpa and launched a destructive knee into the Nin's gullet, sending him flying back. The IWA boy was now unconscious and blood was dripping from his mouth. Naruto looked at the Nin with no pity. Naruto turned away and walked back to his pit. He was given claps on the back and congratulations. Naruto smiled and thanked them. He was willing to be cool and proud of his achievement. In the sand streets and in the public he was a regular guy. But in the arena, in the heat of battle, it was all his territory. The only problem was, he was not the only Jinchuriki with a taste for battle. Arena. It was Kiba's turn. He was facing no one from Konoha, but Temari was actually in the division. Kiba wasn't worried about her though. It was true, Kiba had quite a lot of aces up his sleeves. But they may not be enough. Naruto had gauged Fu's strength in the restaurant. And from that, Naruto knew to watch out for Fu. Her regular chakra levels were beyond a normal genin, even beyond a Chunin's. But what was the real danger was the yokai, he felt, flowing through her system. It was more or less the same amount as the regular chakra, which meant that Fu had control over her chakra. That was definitely a disadvantage. On a better note, a lot of people have started to take an interest to Naruto. Naruto had gone to flawlessly destroy his opponents with taijutsu or very simple techniques, or at least what he considers easy techniques, like Kage Bunshin and Kage Shuriken. He wanted to save his skills for later. While he did make a good show for the entrepreneurs, he gave a warning to all the other shinobis. He was a threat and could really kick some ass. That would go a long way for Konoha's prestige, and now what was left was for Naruto's teammates and Sasuke to do their part. Naruto sighed as he sat down on the couch. He would have to up his game too. He had read in the scroll that Sarutobi's flame seal had a second level, but this had nothing to do with the seals. It actually had to do with flame manipulation and a hell of a lot of chakra. Naruto was already practicing flame manipulation as he sat down and watched the other genins pace around or talk. In his left hand, which was face down and out of sight, he was holding a fireball, albeit an extremely small and quite harmless one, to control the flame. Of course he would start increasing the size, but right now this was the only way he knew to practice elemental manipulation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the... Naruto looked up towards Kiba, who was leaning against the wall, staring at the ceiling and fluorescent lights. Naruto got up and extinguished his flame. He leaned on the wall next to Kiba and said, "Take it easy for the first few rounds. You won't have to do anything big till the finals." Kiba nodded. "Who do I have to watch out for?" Naruto scratched his head and sighed. "If it were any other condition I would say Temari, but I believe Fu from the Waterfall Village is a bigger threat. I suggest going all out on her, including using that. You can go all out, and I put the fail-safe seals in your waterproof bag." Kiba unconsciously reached for his back pouch to feel for the papers. But as he did this, Kiba's eyes widened. "Seriously, she's that dangerous?" Naruto nodded. Naruto was about to continue when the speakers called out Kiba's name. Naruto smiled and let Kiba walk towards the entrance. Naruto called after him, "Good luck, man." Shino, who was near the entrance to the arena, patted Kiba on the back and Akamaru on the head. Kiba smirked and walked up. Several matches. As Naruto had predicted, Kiba had won all of his matches with ease. It made the audience wonder, how strong were the Konoha genin? These kids were simply dominating the field. Naruto was actually pretty happy with the results. But Naruto was still nervous about Fu. From the commentary, she only used taijutsu and a single C-rank Suikan jutsu against Temari. It was pretty impressive, and Kiba took Naruto's warning seriously by then. "Will Kiba of Konoha and Fu of Taki please come up to the arena?" Naruto blinked and looked up at Kiba, who clenched his right hand. Naruto caught Kiba's eye as he stood up. Naruto just gave a single nod, and Kiba understood. It was all that was needed between friends. They didn't have to say anything. They knew what to do. Kiba walked up to the arena, still gripping his right hand. Kiba looked around at his surrounding and saw his opponent in front of him. She had to be proficient at taijutsu, but Kiba had a sneaking suspicion she had another ace up her sleeve somewhere. Kiba didn't mind though. He had other aces up his sleeve too. They walked to the center of the arena. They were about 10 feet apart. The roar of the crowd was deafening, but Kiba blocked it out. He let the adrenaline pump into his blood and let his muscles loosen up. Akamaru was on the ground growling at Fu. Fu mirrored him. She lifted her left arm and shook it a couple times. They were just waiting for the begin. Kiba shot forward at Fu, his hand raised in pose to swipe at her. Fu simply raised her arm and blocked Kiba's strike by the wrist. Kiba anticipated this and grabbed Fu's wrist and jumped over her head, pulling Fu's arm with him. Kiba was about to throw Fu, but suddenly he lost his grip. Kiba used his forward momentum and jumped away from Fu, so that Akamaru and him were on opposite sides of her. What was that? Kiba thought as he clenched his right hand. It was like her arm or something expanded, breaking his grip. Kiba glared at Fu and bent lower to the ground. Well, let's see about this. Kiba ran forward, adding chakra to his feet. Fu got into a stance and prepared for the assault. Kiba ran forward with a reverse punch to Fu's face. Fu easily sidestepped it and swung her leg out at Kiba. Kiba jumped up and smoothly flipped over it. Kiba landed low to the floor and did a leg sweep to Fu's leg. Fu anticipated it and jumped over Kiba's leg. Kiba smirked and then charged Fu with a heavy shoulder smash. Fu, being in the air, couldn't dodge it. Kiba hit directly on. Fu was sent flying back into the trees. Kiba blinked as he watched her crash into the trees. That was unexpected. When I smashed into her, it felt like I was hitting a wall, and there is no way she could add that much chakra to her body to harden it. Kiba paused aside his thoughts as he gave a signal to Akamaru. Akamaru bonded off into the forest where Fu had crashed. Fu, on the other hand, walked out of the forest, not a scratch on her. Kiba blinked, and his eyes narrowed. How this will be interesting. Kiba set his right foot back and leaned back on it. He put his right hand in a position to punch, and readied his chakra. Fu, on the other hand, smirked and put her hand in the tiger seal. Gathering chakra, Kiba thought. Kiba blinked as he thought he saw a green aqua color shimmer over Fu. What was that? Chakra? Kiba bit his lip as he tried to decide what to do. Fu didn't let him have the chance as she charged forward. Fu let out a flurry of fast punches. Kiba weaved his way backwards away from the punches. Kiba suddenly stepped too far back and was off balance. Fu saw this and charged forward with a mid-level punch. Kiba smirked as he let his body fall to the ground. Fu's punch overshot, and she couldn't recover since she had put a lot of momentum into the punch. Kiba rolled onto his hands, doing a handstand, and hit forward with both his legs. Fu was hit up into the air, but Kiba noticed something really interesting. His foot never touched her stomach. Kiba jumped up after Fu and yelled out, "Now!" Fu's eyes widened and looked around for another attack. What is he talking about? Fu thought with worry. She tried to turn herself to see another attack, but it was too late. Akamaru burst out from the forest behind her. He was in his Kiba form and was spinning furiously. Fu tried to maneuver her body to dodge the attack, but Akamaru was too accurate. He smashed directly into her. Kiba watched intently as he ran through several hand seals. He was right. Akamaru was hitting Fu dead on, but he was only coming barely an inch of her. The attack was not reaching her. Let's see what happens if I do this then, Kiba thought. If it did what he thought it would, then he would have to bring out the ace. Kiba raised his arm and let electricity circle it. Fu, who was pushed from behind by Akamaru, was now flying towards Kiba. Kiba brutally smashed his hand into her stomach, calling out right on Thunderclaw. A wave of thunder chakra coursed from Kiba's hand, trying to shock Fu. Kiba watched the chakra and saw that it dispersed over her body, not even once touching her. Fu was sent flying back into a nearby pond. So I'm right, Kiba thought. A chakra shield, but the strength of it's amazing. It's ridiculous. It could probably be turned into an offensive technique too. I mean, by adding chakra, yo can also add pressure, weight, range, and even speed. Kiba smiled to himself. He knew that match was far from over. It looks like he have to use that after all. Kiba called out, "Akamaru, I'm going to use that." Akamaru nodded in his Kiba form, in recognition, and jumped back. Kiba took a deep breath and went on his hands so that he was in the traditional four-leg style taijutsu stance that the Inuzuka. He started to circulate chakra through his coils and towards his hands and legs. Normally, it would be necessary to do this for the taijutsu, but he was doing this for a different reason. Kiba saw bubbles start to rise to the surface of the pond that he had punched Fu into and glared hard. Here we go. Sutton Dragon Missile. Kiba pushed off with his legs but didn't use the chakra. His ace had to rely on direct confrontation. It was extremely powerful, but it was too powerful. Once he activated, there was no half-assing anything. Fu jumped out of the water smiling. She had finally come across an opponent she could really fight against. She turned to Kiba and pushed off with her feet, adding chakra to the chakra barrier. The chakra barrier was actually a way to keep her Biju's chakra under control. It would transfer the demonic chakra into a shield surrounding her. Of course, she controlled the flow of that chakra. Whether she wanted it stronger or not depended on her choice. Of course it took amazing concentration to juggle two chakras at once, but she was trained since birth to do it. Fu pushed her off with amazing speed and raised her arm to punch Kiba in the gut. Kiba was waiting for her, but when he saw her charge he tried to dodge. It seemed that she was faster than Kiba, because she landed a solid hit to Kiba's stomach. Fu pouted a bit as Kiba was sent flying back. That easy, huh? Hey, that was my favorite jacket. Fu whipped around to find Kiba behind her. Fu's eyes widened and she jumped back to get some distance. As she did so, she leapt over to where she had punched Kiba, and in accordance with Kiba's words, there was a beaten jacket instead of a knocked-out Kiba. Fu turned around and glared at Kiba. A replacement technique. No way, I definitely felt something. And I didn't sense any genjutsu, Kiba smirked. That was Sonito. Replacement Kiba then disappeared again. Fu's eyes winded as she searched for him. She was suddenly hit in the stomach with the force of a truck going at 70 miles per hour. Needless to say, she flew back and smashed into a couple trees. But luckily, for her chakra shield, she was able to recover easily to find Kiba smirking. Fu gritted her teeth. It looked like she needed to pull out all the stops for this one. Kiba just readied himself again. And even though he was smirking on the outside, his mind was racing on the inside. Okay, two so far without a hitch, but that last one I definitely felt a burn. That means the seal is starting to overheat, or whatever Naruto calls it. I can probably only use 3, maybe 4 more of Sonito. Guess I have to use the trump. Kiba yelled out Akamaru. Fu's eyes widened and she immediately jumped. She ran through several seals and called out Sitten, Grand Torrent. A nearby pond sprung and shot towards Fu. Kiba eyes wind. What is she? Akamaru was attacking her from behind. Sadly, since Akamaru was in the air, he couldn't maneuver out of the way fast enough. The Grand Torrent smashed into Fu and Akamaru. Shit! Kiba yelled as he watched the jutsu crush them. As the jutsu fell, Kiba's gut fell. What had happened to Akamaru? Well, at least your puppy is gone. Fu coughed from the side of Kiba. Kiba spun around, still on hands and feet. He saw Akamaru under a tree, drenched and unconscious but overall fine. Fu was standing a couple feet next to Akamaru, also drenched. Kiba growled out, "You'll pay for that." Fu smirked. "Let's see what you..." Kiba had already dissipated, leaving only an afterimage. Fu was hit in the stomach, but a huge impact after a surrounding boom. Burk. Kiba stopped, but Fu was flying back hard. Fu crashed into a boulder, creating a large dust and rubble cloud. Kiba smirked as he said Sonic Gutsuga. Kiba was smiling on the outside, but everywhere else was hurting like a bitch. Passing the sonic barrier was something not many people did, and those who did usually had enough chakra or strength to withstand it. Kiba only had the speed, not the fortitude. Kiba looked through the dust where Fu had landed. When it had barely cleared, Kiba realized she wasn't there. Kiba looked around for her, but he was suddenly pushed down by gallons upon gallons of water. "Arrgg!" Kiba cried out. Fu then came down with a vengeance. She had used another Grand Torrent, but this time in the air. She pushed down Kiba to immobilize him. Then she raised her arm and smashed hard on Kiba's back. Not enough to paralyze him, but enough to hurt him considerably. There were cracks on the ground where Kiba was hit. Fu smirked at her results, but it was short-lived. Kiba's body flickered twice and disappeared. Shitten, Gutsuga Raging Storm. Fu knelt down and put all her concentration into the chakra shield. It was lucky she did that, since she was pelted over and over again by spinning missiles. Kiba looked at Fu and saw the sweat pouring down her face. "I almost have her." Kiba came around for another pass when he felt a sharp pain. "Argg." Fu blinked and looked to her right side. Kiba was there, laying on the ground in obvious pain. At first Fu was worried, but Kiba groaned out, "P. Proctor, I give up." Fu blinked and walked over to Kiba. "What's wrong with you?" Kiba turned over onto his back, panting out, "Ice seals are killing me." "Seals?" Kiba nodded wearily. "Yeah, Naruto made them. Could you, Burk, do me a favor and reach into my pouch and get out the pieces of the paper with the kanji reverse on them?" Fu bent down and did so. "And what do you want me to do with these?" Kiba said painfully. "Put them on my wrists and ankles." Fu did so, and as soon as she did so, Kiba relaxed. Fu smiled and helped Kiba up. "Well, that was a good fight." Kiba nodded and said, "Yeah, I guess we'll continue it later, huh?" Fu nodded happily. "Yeah, it'll be fun to fight you." Kiba smirked as he wobbled over to get Akamaru and leave the stadium. "Yeah, Naruto." Naruto's eyes widened as he heard the news. This was enlightening. He would have to hear the details from Kiba. Fu would definitely be someone to watch out for. Well, Naruto knew that in the first place, but this was on a different level. Naruto smirked apprehensively as he thought of all the fights that would soon come. Well, I think it's time to start training or recreate that Naruto thought with glee.